the streets of Southern California are packed with cars. But today, the streets of downtown Long Beach are jammed with stars, the drivers of the IZOD IndyCar Series. And for a couple of Team Penske teammates, the 2010 season has been traffic-free. For the 36th time, the streets of Long Beach have shut down to host one of the world's most prestigious street course races, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Southern Californians know their cars, and each year, close to 170,000 of them jam downtown Long Beach to witness this unique combination of horsepower and star power. Today, they'll get to see if anyone can stop Team Penske, whether it will be defending Long Beach champion Dario Franchitti or his Ganassi teammate Scott Dixon, both working their way up from mid-pack. Or perhaps Dreyer and Reinbold driver Justin Wilson starting third today. And they'll take you along for the ride. Welcome to IZOD IndyCar Central here on Versus. Hi, I'm Wendy Thaxton, right here on Pit Road, which is actually Shoreline Drive. Normally, traffic would be moving along here at 35 miles per hour. Today, they've done away with the speed limit for the IZOD IndyCar Series. We are taking over the streets in one of the great traditions in street course racing. And take a look at just how historic it is. It's in the ranks with Le Mans and Monaco from the 20s. As we said, this is the 36th year of racing here at Long Beach. Last week, IndyCars raced at Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama for the very first time. Let's just say it was such a success, it left people climbing the fences for more.
Just a spectacular facility on a spectacular day. Marco in row 2. Marco's best start since Infineon last year.
A little rough start, but I'm just trying to clear my name right now and try to prove that I still know how to drive these things.
Break. Turn 1, Power has command. Power has now led in his last 5 starts. Some cars making their stop, including Will Power. Great passing zone. Marco takes the lead, but he runs Elio off. So it's Andretti, Castroneves, Dixon, Kanaan, and Power.
Oh,
and Elio's on pit lane.
He's right on the verge of being able to make that the last stop.
And Cindric is saying we can go the distance here. There is absolutely no way that Marco can get to the end without a yellow.
Marco's driving really good here, and I got caught out not doing the fuel-saving mode early in the race, and you can blame this one on me right now unless we get a yellow.
Marco has to relinquish the lead for a needed splash of fuel. Elio Castroneves, through pit strategy, wins the Indy Grand Prix of Alabama.
And Elio joins us now. You like watching that, I know. You've conquered Hollywood with Dancing with the Stars. Talk about why it's so important for IndyCar to be here.
Well, you said it, Hollywood. California is known as the place that everybody want to be. It's incredible because of the movies. But again, this place, you got to remember, it's been more than 30 years happening, racing Long Beach. So it's great to be here. Look at the atmosphere. Everybody's really enjoying it. So that's one of the reasons.
You were the last Penske driver to win here back in 2001. It's been a little while for Penske. How do you get it done today?
Well, that was the last race that we've been, except about last year. But we feel very good. We always definitely been class of the field, let's put it this way. But again, the entire team Penske has been working really good. So we put the 3 cars in the top 6. That's just to show today on the competition that we have today. It's incredible. It's very, very good. So we feel great. We have 3 cars that there is a chance to win. So we might be able to let the past go, and hopefully the present will be good.
Well, good luck to you today.
Thank you so much.
And last weekend, 2008 Series champion Scott Dixon, he finished runner-up to Elio at Barber. It was Dixon's first podium of the season after problems at both Sao Paulo and St. Pete, but Scott was not ready to celebrate.
And the IZOD IndyCar Series begins. A mess here in the back.
Dixon gets spun around. Oh, in the air. The 9-car Scott Dixon has now damaged, and now a piece of that front wing obscuring his view. He's got some trouble. Scott Dixon has hit the wall. Another tough break.
into turn one. Power has command. Scott Dixon jumped the start. He's going to have to drop back a couple of positions.
I think the officials screwed us at the start. You know, we didn't pass Elio. I passed him on the outside into one. I had tried to on the inside going into one. Got beside him again, back behind, and passed him. And then they still called me to go back behind Marco. So I don't know where that came from, and I think that was a pretty bad decision. A good day for Team Target all in all, a second and third. If we'd been ahead of Elio, I think we could have stayed there.
No one would blame Scott Dixon if he wants to insist that that was then and this is now. But, Scott, good news is in early practice, final practice this morning, you were the quickest.
Yeah, I still think that was a BS call. Come on. No, you know, I think the car, we actually, you know, both of us struggled in qualifying. You know, it just seems to be very hard to get the speed that we need right at the moment, especially to keep up with Will and obviously the other couple of Penske's. So, you know, we worked on overnight, definitely a lot better. We were quickest in the final practice, but we've got a lot of work to do from P8. It's a big Target weekend. We've got a lot of supporters here, and we've got to put on a good show and hopefully get another podium.
You know, there's a lot of talk about what Will Power has been able to accomplish in the first couple of races. Does that create an extra sense of urgency in any way to you?
You know, you definitely, each race pays the same amount of points, so, you know, you've definitely got to get on top of it before he, you know, gets such a streak going that it's very hard to pull back. And, you know, I don't think we've seen that for a long time, and obviously him and the, you know, the whole crew on the Penske car there have got it sorted, you know, even over his teammates. So, you know, we're doing our best to make it through. I think we race our cars a lot better than Team Penske at the moment, but we're just not qualifying as best. So, you know, we got a bit of work to do, and hopefully we can pull it out.
Good luck, Scott.
Thanks, man.
Let's check in with my mate, Robbie Floyd.
Qualifying in third, the Z-Line car of Justin Wilson. This is your 7th trip here. You finished second. You've had a pole, but you say this is the best car you've ever had. Big smile.
Yeah, I mean, the 22 Z-Line car feels really good, so I'm happy with the balance. We made some good changes. Warm-up was okay. We were nothing special, but we were on pretty old tires, so I'm optimistic for the race. Hopefully we can sneak by on turn one and, you know, maybe get into second, and from there, who knows.
You also have to look at the big picture, at how you are at the end of Homestead. You're 4th in points. Does your outlook change being that high up in the points?
Not really. I mean, I try not to take too many chances or unnecessary risks. You know, I try and calculate everything out. So really, I'm not going to drive any different now than if I was, you know, 23rd in points or even 1st in points. You know, I'm just going to try and do the right thing, make the right moves, and let the race come to me. And, you know, we're in that position, fortunately, where we're starting near the front. So, you know, we can just see what the leader does and try and follow that and see where that puts us at the end of the race.
Lindy, even though Will Power starts on pole, I promise you he's thinking about Justin Wilson in the Dreyer and Reinbold car just behind.
Yeah, he is, Robbie. And speaking of points, for the 3rd week in a row, Will Power leads the point standings now with a 33-point lead over Team Penske teammate Helio Castroneves, who jumped from 6th to 2nd in points with his win at Barber. Target Chip Ganassi Racing has 2 drivers in the top 5 with Dario Franchitti and Scott Dixon, while Justin Wilson there remains strong in 4th position. And we will talk to the points leader, Will Power, getting a little bit of a snack there when IndyCar Central returns here on Versus.
To the entire Team Penske crew, we say, Benfeitio, well done. They have thrown down the early gauntlet as the team to beat in 2010 by winning the Sao Paulo Indy 300.
The Aussie Will Power will open the 2010 season with back-to-back victories. Can Helio Castroneves extend the Penske streak to 3?
Helio Castroneves, through largely pit strategy, wins the Indy Grand Prix of Alabama. Woo! Yeah, guys, well done, everyone!
Team Penske has plenty of history here at Long Beach as well. On this date in 1993, Paul Tracy won his first race. Al Unser Jr. and Helio Castroneves have also won for Roger Penske here. And today they have 3 drivers starting in the top 5. Ryan Briscoe starts 5th, Helio Castroneves 4th, and Will Power once again on the pole. Jack is with Will.
And forgive the competition if they continue to accentuate the word power rather than his first name, Will, because you have certainly just dominated in qualifying and in most of the races. In your mind's eye, what is it about this part of the season that has allowed you to do that?
You know, it's the first time in my career that I've been in a big team, and you know, I've been able to get the car the way I want it. Like last year, I just drove it the way it was because I was doing selected races, but this year I've really focused on getting the way I want it. That's where speeds come from.
Clive Howell and some of your competition have said they follow you or they watch you, they look at the overlays, and you basically drive the racetrack totally different than anybody else. And I will quote Clive saying, you attack a racetrack some places where it can't be attacked. Do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, around here you really do got to attack. At like tracks like Barber, you know, it's very, very smooth and neat and tidy. You know, in qualifying yesterday here, I mean, you feel like you're going to crash every lap. That's the sort of circuit it is. So it's, you know, it's different everywhere. You got to adjust.
Good luck, Will.
Thank you.
Hey, Lindy, I might want to let you know he has a little pre-race ritual that he does. He eats a peanut butter and honey sandwich.
Well, that
he
sounds
just completed
tasty.
it, and guess what? At Barber, he forgot to eat it.
Well, isn't that interesting, Jack? Well, maybe today he will join the list of drivers who have won here. It's a pretty impressive list. Al Unser Jr. won here 6 times. Paul Tracy won here 4. Mario Andretti 3. In addition to Danny Sullivan and Jimmy Vasser's wins here, Michael Andretti won both his first and last races on these streets. The Grand Prix experience here in Long Beach is typical Southern California. Lots of sun, lots of show business, lots of racing. There are 3 full days of racing here in Long Beach. One of the highlights the fans love is the Pro Celebrity Race. We thought to ourselves, okay, Robbie Buell's a little bit of both, celebrity and professional, so we sent him to check it out.
Major star power down here in the Toyota Pro Celebrity compound. And as you look around, you got all the fans here, and the fans, they love to see these celebrities get out of their environment and challenge the streets in Long Beach. But before all these drivers took to the streets here, and pros, they made a special visit right up the road and made some major money for children's hospitals here in Southern California with a program called Racing for Kids, the main charity of this event, raising close to $2 million.
My key to victory are actually keys.
I think I need open heart surgery before we start. So I don't know how you keep your brain together.
When they see my lap times, they come around and start asking me, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? Last year, I ran it with no ignition. The ignition with the steering wheel was locked the whole time. I couldn't get the thing, you know, couldn't get the column lock off.
You know, you get to race cars. Like, I'm a guy, you know. You want to shoot guns and drive cars.
So, Tony, how different is this than running on a half pipe?
When I'm skating, it's just me and my board, and I don't have to worry about anyone else or running into someone or passing someone, and so that element is new to me.
Unless something really happens, I don't think I'll be holding a trophy. This year's key to victory is keys. I know it sounds redundant, but that's my key to victory.
Do you ever consider taking on these 4 wheels full time? I mean, do you like this challenge?
I love it, yeah. As long as I don't have to pay for it, it's awesome.
Me too. There is the green flag for the 34th running of the Toyota Pro Celebrity as they head down Shoreline Drive to turn 1. Pass right there. Adam Carolla takes second. Look at the chaos in the hairpin, the bumping and grinding going on here. Look at this. Keanu Reeves, Jamie Bestwick battling it out down Shoreline Drive lane. Big contact there. Turn 1, Jesse McCartney. Now watch this. Boom! T-bone. Chris Ashford's got a little bit of flame from him. Safe to say he's done. Look at this little triple bump into the leader, Jimmy Vasser of the Slips, and that was Brian Austin Green, pushed by Tanner Faust. Checkered flag. Jimmy Vasser for the pros, Brian Austin Green for the celebs, spraying some champagne. Doesn't get any better.
Thank you, Robbie. Another race happened here earlier today. Firestone Indy Lights. James Hinchcliffe started from pole today and would not look back. Sebastian Saavedra takes 4th, and then the incident started. Junior Strauss, Adrian Campos Jr., Gustavo Yackaman, and James Winslow all having some issues there. Well, Hinchcliffe would lead from flag to flag and take home the checkers today at Long Beach. By the way, J.K. Vernay has a 28-point lead in the point standings over Kimball. By the way, people are lining up anywhere here in Long Beach to watch this race. They are on the rooftops here. As you see, that's such a good event out here. Thursday night, the Eyes on IndyCar Series turned the lights, cameras, and action on Hollywood Boulevard. Robbie Floyd patrolled the red carpet and has his report when IndyCar Central returns on Versus. Welcome back to IndyCar Central on Versus. We are less than 25 minutes to the green flag. And we're just over a month away from pole day for the Indianapolis 500. Earlier this week, an exciting new qualifying format was announced. On pole day, Saturday, May 22nd, positions 1 through 24 will be determined. From 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., each car will get 3 attempts to qualify. At that point, the top 9 drivers will have their times erased. And from 4:30 to 6, they will have 2 attempts to qualify for the first 3 rows. The winner of the Peak Pole Award will earn a $175,000 bonus, as well as 15 points toward the season championship. Bump Day on Sunday, May 23rd, will qualify the final 9 positions, and Versus will have all 13 hours of qualifying live. Well, it's about 32 miles from here in Long Beach to Hollywood Boulevard. In an Indy car traveling at 220 miles per hour, you could make that in less than 9 minutes. Please do not try this. This past Thursday night, our drivers joined forces with celebrities in Hollywood, shut down Hollywood Boulevard. Somehow, Robbie Floyd got behind the velvet rope to attend Izod's Race to the Party.
If you don't feel us, please take us to your leaders, cause the music really needs us.
When the Izod IndyCar Series comes to Long Beach, it's an event. But when we go to Hollywood, it's a spectacle.
This is the first time that I'm actually feeling like I'm actually, my celebrity is getting me something cool, Usually it's, you got people sticking a camera in your face or bothering your kids, and, to have something this cool, this exciting, it's great.
I have a plan to change the game, you just watch and see.
P. Diddy, Mark Wahlberg, it's spectacular. This thing is amazing, being right in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard, guys. You don't understand, this is huge. So it's great to be here. It's great to be in this kind of spotlight, Kind of reminds you Dancing with the Stars.
3 of the biggest stars of the Izod IndyCar Series on Hollywood Boulevard. P. Diddy comes in by car, but you guys show up in helicopters. What's up with that?
Woo, man. How did P. Diddy show up? Do you know?
I think he drove.
Oh, look at that, man. How far everybody helicopter, are you kidding?
I didn't sign up for this team just to be driven here. We're all about flying.
You're the series points leader. You are the biggest star. What did you think when you're coming in by chopper, looking down, seeing those lights, knowing this is for you guys?
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. I can't believe what they put on.
It's impressive what Izod's doing. It's so different. It's so fresh for us, a fresh perspective for the series and for the sport.
It's good to see somebody with the league doing a great job of smacking everybody upside the head to say we're here. It's hot, sexy, it's fast. This is the perfect way to explain it.
What a party on Hollywood Boulevard. The racers come out to meet the fans. The celebrities come out to meet the racers. The only thing left is the race itself.
Now we want to turn our attention to another star, this week's National Guard hometown hero, Sergeant Louis Maldonado Martinez of National City, California, honored earlier today by the Dan Weldon National Guard team. He joined the California Army National Guard in 2006 as a paralegal specialist. Since enlisting in the National Guard, Sergeant Martinez has served overseas in a hostile fire area in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, working in the office of the Command Judge Advocate. That's this week's National Guard hometown hero. When we come back, Jack Arute sits down with Michael Andretti, owner of Andretti Autosport. His lead driver, Tony Kanaan, starts 6 today, and as we head to break, this is TK Uncut.
I'm Tony Kanaan, and this is me, Uncut. I'm good at sleeping, but I'm very bad at waking up early. The most surprising thing that ever happened to me was my son, when he was 2 years old, telling me not to race. The common misperception of me is that I'm always in a bad mood. The best age to be is all of them. I enjoy every year of my life. In a nutshell, my philosophy is believe, always believe.
happen. I can't believe it.
Congratulations, Michael.
And there's Dan. The handshake of congratulations. As Mario Andretti says, you finally did it, son.
The Andretti legacy began another chapter this season when Michael Andretti took sole ownership of Andretti Green Racing and made it Andretti Autosport. 2009 was a tough season for Michael and his drivers, Tony Kanaan, Danica Patrick, and Marco Andretti, his son. It was the first time the team went winless, and now Andretti, winner of 42 races as a driver and 34 as an owner, wants to put his name and his team back in victory lane. Jack Arute looks at Michael Andretti in color.
You've assembled a team with Andretti Autosport that every single one of the drivers that's on your team could be considered the #1 driver. And yet, one of those #1 drivers is named Andretti. How do you make that work with all the personalities that you've got on that team?
We've always had, it's something that's, it's not easy. The whole thing is just try to be as fair as we can be,
Yeah, but
it's not always.
Wait a minute.
But
He's your
gotta
son.
be fair. Yeah, he's my son.
He's your son. He's going to come crying to you, and he has in the past when he thought he was wrong.
And I say sorry.
Do you ever feel like a ringleader? Do you ever feel like like the circus ringmaster, trying to keep everybody happy?
No, I feel like a kindergarten teacher. Sometimes the things that they fight over and things like that are like, come on, guys, let's grow up a little bit. There's that, but all in all, it hasn't been that bad.
All you have to say is Danica Patrick and what she has to carry.
Tons.
How do you look at all of that?
I just know exactly how she feels. I've been there. I know that pressure.
Is it kind of like when you went to Formula One?
Yeah, good example. Don't be like me, because I see mistakes that I made at the track where I would walk around so focused, and people would think I was so unapproachable and all that. I know how much it kills you and stuff, but put a smile on your face and, go sign that autograph and things, and just tried to use my own experiences again with her. And one thing about Danica is she listens.
Let's do a little one answer Q&A here. When I say the name, tell me what comes to your mind. Roger Penske.
Looks to dominate.
Chip Ganassi.
Does whatever it takes to win.
Michael Andretti.
I guess I would try to say the same thing.
Has it gotten to the point where that's what it all boils down to, is whatever it takes?
It's always been that way. I don't ever remember him. I've been in the game for 20-some years or whatever, and I've seen it through my dad. You do whatever you can. You try to get whatever advantage you can, and, in the end, it's all about winning.
I know you talk about your dad, and now you got a son, but he only has one win.
Yeah, it's so disappointing. He should have a lot more wins, and him not having wins isn't all his fault. He's been in a position many times where just, the team made mistakes or he was taken out, and, I'm hoping this is his year. I mean, he is so focused. He's driving so well. The testing, he's been testing well. So I'm hoping that, it turns around.
If he goes to victory lane, what will that mean to you? And secondly, and most importantly, what will it mean to him?
I mean, to me, it'll probably put tears in my eyes for sure, and because I know how tough it's been for him and how he's been criticized for no reason at all, and it's just because of who he is. Then people jump all over him, and he's on the verge of greatness, in my opinion. I really think the way he's driving. So for me, it's going to be so happy for him, mostly as a dad.
And here are where the Andretti drivers will start today. By qualifying second, Ryan Hunter-Reay has his first front row start in the IZOD IndyCar Series. And Robbie, he's the only one to podium this season.
And his first year at Andretti Autosport, you're starting out strong here. You take a second at the first race of the year. Things are good in the AA camp, aren't they?
They are. We're clicking. We're working well together, and it's just early days still. I mean, myself, Tony, Marco, Danica, and this entire team have been doing a great job making these cars better and better on the road and street circuits. So it's definitely a work in progress. It's early, but we're heading in the right direction. I'm getting comfortable in the team.
Starting outside pole today, that's your best starting position, and you've come here for several years. Things starting to come together here at Long Beach.
I mean, I love Long Beach. This is one of my favorite racetracks. It's where I made my debut racing Atlantics back in the day, and something special to me also. My mom, used to love coming to this racetrack, and she passed away over the off season due to cancer, and she's definitely here with me this weekend, and I just love coming here. This is it feels like a home race to me, and to be doing well for this team with eyes out on the side of the car, it's a good start to the weekend. And now today we got to go out and kick it through the post.
Qualifies in second place. Remember Brazil, the first race of the year, he finished second place. He said these tracks are similar.
Thank you, Robbie. Jack Arute and the guys in the booth set up today's race when IndyCar Central returns here on Versus.
11.
Welcome back to Long Beach, where we are just 15 minutes away from the green flag for Toyota's Grand Prix of Long Beach. I'm heading down to pit road, and that's where we find Jack Arute.
Thanks, Lindy, and welcome to my new home for the rest of the season. It's the Izod Performance Pit Center. We're going to be able to dissect things here, and one of the things I do want to start with is a street course. Different pavement, different contours. We like to call it the Baja of IndyCar racing, and it puts a lot of stress points on a car. Our cutaway car, let's take a look. First and foremost, you've got to take a look at the gearbox area back here. Going up and down through the gears is really going to test it, and sometimes gearboxes will fail. The other area that I think we need to concentrate a lot about is the stress that goes on the suspension pieces. Heim joints like this in the past, if they were fine, you used them for more than one race. But with the pounding that you take on a street course, you only use them once, and then you throw them away. Where is the pounding? Well, take a look down through the corners. The cars are jostling and bouncing back and forth. But a critical area is when you hit a curb. You hit that curb, and it really upsets the car to the point that it puts your front nose in jeopardy. What happens to the front nose? You can lose an end plate. You can lose some of the top surface plates. But the other key, and this is something I was astounded about, teams have told me these cars take such a brutal beating that at the end of a race, Bob, they take them back to the shop and they discover fissures, small fractures in the tub itself. And these cars are built out of carbon fiber.
And the pace begins to quicken here as drivers get set to go the distance here this afternoon in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins with my booth mates. Both of them former driving champions, both of them with a lot of experience on this racetrack. And, Robbie, you asked just about every driver. They want to win Indianapolis, but they also want to win here in Long Beach. Why is that?
And what a tradition. 36 years of racing through these streets. Incredible atmosphere. It is a party in the streets. And for the drivers, they want to take some hardware away from here. Just listen to this name of past champions here. Lauda, Piquet, Villeneuve, Michael, Mario Andretti, Unser, Sullivan, Montoya, Zanardi, Vassar, Tracer. That answers that question, Jan.
And there is also a name on that list, and that is Will Power. He's won here before, but let's face it, guys, he has crushed the competition so far this weekend. And what are you going to do to catch him? But this is Long Beach. Expect the unexpected. If I'm not Will Power, I'm thinking, I got to take him on the start.
We're almost ready to go. Thanks for joining us here on Izod IndyCar Central on Versus. The command to start engines just moments away. Stay with us. California, the sun, the beach. But this week, laid-back living turns to high-power roars through the streets. It's the historic Long Beach Grand Prix. Grand Prix at Long Beach. It's race number 4 for the 2010 Izod IndyCar Series, and it's been Penske Racing's season sweep so far. Points leader Will Power has started the season strong.
How about Will Power?
But last week, his teammate Helio Castroneves climbed the fence in the deep south of Alabama.
Helio Castroneves, he's the winner.
This has been the place for the name Andretti.
Michael Andretti has won.
The third-generation driver Marco tries to continue that legacy. Last week, he led the most laps, looking for his first win in 2 years, but played the fuel game wrong and ended up with sheer disappointment. The field is set. The crowd is psyched. The engines are primed. Let the Long Beach battle begin. The best open-wheel drivers in America have gathered for the 36th time to challenge the streets of Long Beach in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, and we're glad you've chosen to spend your afternoon with Versus and the IZOD IndyCar Series. 85 laps around this 1.968-mile racetrack. It's a beautiful day and a beautiful setting for this event. And by the way, it's the final road and street race before 4 straight oval tracks, including, of course, the Indianapolis 500. It's time for the command. Let's go trackside.
All right, Southern California, are you ready? It's now time for those most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome actor and producer Mark Wahlberg as he gives the command.
Drivers, start your engine!
Beginning with roll 1, let me hear you.
Felt the flyover here above this track, and now the drivers are all ready to go on this race. And as the cars get ready to pull away behind the pace car for a couple of warm-up laps, Jan has a closer look at this racetrack.
And Bob, you mentioned it's just under 2 miles, and as soon as you get the overhead look, you can say, yeehaw! That's why there's a lot of passing. 170 miles an hour down Shoreline into the best passing zone there is on this racetrack into turn number 1. Around through the fountain. Now, you could still possibly make a move into 6, maybe into 8, but the second best place to pass is the end of the back straightaway, turn number 9, and then the legendary hairpin down to 27 miles an hour.
So let's take a little closer look at some of those spots. Here's going down Shoreline Drive into 1. TK, most experienced guy out here. And look at that, just a little bit of a miscue, and off you go. I think we're going to see a lot of those little miscues in the streets today here. And look at the bouncing around they get here. The pavement changes that are all over this track. You have a lot of paint down as well and striping, along with different patches of pavement. Look at that. Ooh, big bounce from Willpower up over the curbing. And that's where Jan said that led into the next second best passing zone. Here it is, the classic hairpin. Look at how crossed up Ryan Hunter-Ray was. Woo!
Strategy played a very important role in last weekend's encounter at Barber Motorsports Park, and our strategist Jack Arute is on station at the new IZOD Perform X Pit Center. Jack.
Bob, I've been taking a look at the history of this race, and there certainly is a lot of it, and I ran some averages, and we need to take a look at those averages to be able to understand what the strategy might be. The total number of laps, the total number of cautions, 5 for 18 laps in the 85. Well, what about the average length of the caution? Well, it's only 3 to 4 laps each time. The average lap comes on the first caution on lap 17, and the average number of stops, 3. Well, guess what? There's going to be teams that are going to make this race on 2 stops, and here's how they're going to do it. What they're going to basically have to do is split this race up into thirds. Watch 2 different strategies as it unfolds. Some guys, when the pit window opens on lap 22 or so, are going to pull into pit road and get out of sequence. Other drivers, depending on where they're at and if they're not being held up, they're going to go as far as 31, 32 laps. What's the bottom line, though? Be the first to cross the start-finish line, and what we're going to really have to watch is that second lap, that second pit stop, because that's going to help us really determine, is someone being forced to save fuel, or is someone going to be in a situation like Marco Andretti was last week and have to pit for a fuel and go? Guys?
Jack, you look good in the new pit center. The Peak Pole Award was won yesterday by Will Power, his 3rd consecutive pole position. He becomes only the 5th driver in IZOD IndyCar history to accomplish that feat, winning 3 in a row. The only other pole winner this year, Dario Franchitti, that was at the first race in Brazil. Here is the way the field lines up for today's race. Ryan Hunter-Reay in the front row for the first time in series history. Justin Wilson starts third, where he started in Brazil, and last week's winner, Helio Castroneves. Row 3, Helio's teammate Ryan Briscoe, his best start this year, and Tony Kanaan, the pole sitter here in 99.
And for Ryan Briscoe, he said he knew that he had to bring up the mark, go quicker in qualifying. Now all 3 Penske cars in the top 6.
The most experienced driver at this track is next. Alec Tagliani, 10 previous starts. Scott Dixon, last week's runner-up. In the 5th row, Marco Andretti, who led most laps at Barber. And down Weldon, his best start since Japan last year. Row 6, Hideki Muto, driving for the Newman-Haas-Lanigan team. They have more wins than any other team here at this track. And Dario Franchitti, the defending race winner.
A year ago, he started on the front row. Now he's back in 12th, but never count out Dario. No one's better as a street fighter than him.
Starting 13th, Simona Di Silvestro, highest qualifying rookie, and Vitor Meira on the podium at Brazil in his first race back from injuries at Indy last year. As you take a look at the rest of the lineup, 2 drivers have won the race starting from the 7th row or beyond. Michael Andretti started from 15th in 2002 and won, and Paul Tracy from 17th 10 years ago. This race has run caution-free 10 times. The most cautions, 7 occurred at this event in 98. On the onboard cameras that we carried this afternoon by Graham Rahal, and apparently his final race for Sarah Fisher. Also with an onboard camera, Takuma Sato in the Lotus-sponsored entry for KV Racing Technology starting in 19. Dan Weldon in the National Guard machine for Panther Racing starting outside row number 5. Tony Kanaan with 3 consecutive top 10 finishes this year, off to a very good start. Ryan Briscoe is 6th in the point standings going into today's race. And we'll also have an in-car camera from Ryan Hunter-Reay looking for his 2nd series victory, carrying the colors of Andretti Motors Autosport, a name which has a lot of history here at Long Beach. As far as tires are concerned, only 3 on the primaries. Everybody else will be starting on the primary. Yeah, everybody else on the reds to start the race.
And one of the reasons for that, Bob, is because the blacks or the primaries, everyone's saying in this cool ocean air is taking 4 or 5 laps to really get some heat and really get some speed. So almost everyone, as you said, with the exception of 3, starting on the red sidewalls alternate, they get a lot more grip right off the go.
Yeah, and all those guys that are on those alternates are 1 through 18. So that's not really going to be a big variable up towards the front of the spec.
Cars are headed for corner number 5. Then they make a right-hander and come back parallel to the front stretch for a little bit of time, and then a right-hander into 6, 7, and 8. Scott Dixon gets ready to go in the Target Chip Ganassi car.
Fastest car in the morning warm-up. That doesn't pay points, but it does show that he's got the car going the right direction.
Do you think he has any thoughts in his head of what happened to him at Barber when they're saying he jumped the start? He questions that. You think the driver's thinking about that right now?
He was during the interview earlier.
He sure was. He sure was.
All right, well, it's time to go racing in Long Beach, an event that we look forward to every year. The city supports it. The fans are ready for racing. The drivers love it. We're close to Hollywood. Anything can unfold here in the movie that is about to be unleashed as the cars begin their 2-wide formation off of corner number 11, looking for and getting the Apex Brazil green flag, and the 36th Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is underway.
And it looked like Wilson had a pretty good jump up alongside there, didn't he?
And into turn number 1, Wilson with the inside advantage.
Oh, tight. They all made it through. He didn't get the position, though. Hunter-Reay got it. Good.
Ryan Hunter-Reay actually got dropped at the start by Power, and Ryan Hunter-Reay did not give up. He stayed on the outside. That was a great turn 1.
Tony Kanaan slides into position number 4 now.
TK started back in the 6th spot, so to grab 2 spots, as competitive as this field is, he timed that just right. But the sorting out there that we had between Ryan Hunter-Reay and Justin Wilson, that was pretty good respect between those 2 guys saying, hey, we can't win here on the first lap.
On to the backstretch they go, Jack.
Well, not only was it good respect, guys, Will Power, Hunter Ray, Wilson, Canan, Castro Neves, all the way down to Tagliani, used the push to pass as soon as the green flag came out. That overtake button came into play, both offensively and, as we said, defensively at the start. First time I've seen that.
And Briscoe's on the button as we speak, so it's not just the front straightaway. People getting after it. And that looks like Marco was side by side. They talked about in the driver's meeting, whatever you do, don't try to pass in the hairpin, and they're after it already.
They're pretty adamant about that hairpin. You can't get anything done through there, guys, so don't challenge each other. Don't do anything to take each other out. And sure enough, there was some fighting for position.
Even Will Power used his overtake assist in a defensive, just as Jack has been talking about in a lot of these races. That overtake assist is sometimes used as a defensive. Here's the move that we saw. Rubbing his racing.
Yeah, that's Marco just kind of rubbing on the right rear of Tagliani. We'll have to keep an eye on Tag just to make sure there wasn't a little puncture there. It doesn't take much. Those front wing plates are like razors once they get into the back of the Firestones.
Tony Kanaan continues to run in fourth position. Up ahead, Wilson, Ray, and the leader of the race, Will Power.
Now, the point that was made in the driver's meeting was that, hey guys, if you go to the inside to the hairpin, it looks like a great place to pass, but you physically can't make it all the way around the corner unless you're like Marco and you do a little bump thing, it turns the car for you, and off you go.
But you're setting yourself up potentially to do some damage to your cars.
Here's the start of the race. Everybody lining up 2 by 2. Boy, Power got on the accelerator very, very quickly and had a huge advantage as they went into turn number 1. And look at TK on the outside.
A good run. And look, he just had to get out of the gas there. He had so much momentum and came up behind Ryan Hunter-Reay and Wilson. Ooh. Ryan Hunter-Reay. Yeah, tough for me to say. He got a little bit cross-stuck in there. There it is. Let's hear him call off the throttle. There it is. Had nowhere to go.
That was still a great move.
Okay, settle into the routine here. Figure out what you got, what your competition has, where the strengths and weaknesses are.
Now to turn number 8 onto the backstretch, which is in effect Seaside Way when there are passenger cars on it.
Those two views of the start, I think, really reinforced the point that there was a lot of give and take going on there. This is a place where we said you want to be so aggressive, you want to get after it right away, but that shows it's the 4th race of the year. People are in their groove, and if you don't have it, you got to give it up, and now everybody's still running.
Yeah, and that overhead shot where we saw Ryan Hunter-Reay, where the rear just kind of was sliding around, we didn't see that in other shots. So like you say, a lot of respect.
On board here with Graham Rahal, who's running back in 22nd position. That's Alex Lloyd just ahead. And ahead of Alex is Danica Patrick and Takuma Sato.
170 miles an hour here. A lot of tough in terms of traction, getting slowed down for turn 1.
Well, Ryan Hunter-Reay is not letting Will Power get very far ahead. The interval is just a few car lengths. 0.4 of a second to be precise as they crossed the line last time.
Well, we heard all weekend from Ryan Hunter-Reay as we're riding on board with him of how confident he is with this car, and he's having fun. And they said they made some changes and pushed enough buttons that were really good. Sometimes you can make 100 changes and not find one. Well, they say they found ones that really worked well, and that's good for the driver's confidence.
And I'm beginning to think that Ryan Hunter-Reay is the first to go in a strategy which will push his first pit stop as far as it can go. They've been talking to him already about, don't worry about the leader, just start making fuel.
Others who made gains on the start include Mario Marias, who gained 2 spots, moving up from 15th to 13th. We're in the early stages of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach on Versus.
We wanted to do something for our fans.
I want Kyle Busch in a pink car in a pink suit.
And now, they get to be our sponsors.
This has always been artistic.
And she loves those cats.
Who doesn't like kittens, bunnies, and little baby seals?
I love you.
No, thank you, sweetheart.
No, write that on the spoiler.
Okay.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Select I-Thought IndyCar driver. Driver selected Ryan Hunter-Reay. Select race transport. competition. Finish first. Fastest drivers in the world. See who wins at racetotheparty.com.
Quality and value. Style. Performance. Sure, you want it all. Just don't want to spend it all. No problem. Just go with the brand voted #1 overall. Toyo tires. For 7 of the last 9 years by people who know best. Independent tire dealers, just like me. So for top quality and top value, take it from the pros. Toyo tires.
12 summers of boat hauling, 63 miles of commuting daily. For any extreme from the road to the racetrack, nothing beats Mobil 1. The choice of over half of all NASCAR teams. So put some NASCAR in your car. Mobil 1.
5 out of 85 laps completed in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. And Will Power is leading his 6th consecutive race. That's the longest active streak. Matter of fact, going into today's race, he was the only driver to lead all the previous races this season. Put that into perspective, TK holds a record having led 12 races in a row spanning 2004 and 2005. Dan Weldon, who is running back in the 9th position. He's moved up 1 spot from his starting spot. Of course, in our pre-race show, we saw the hometown hero that's being honored here in Long Beach. The National Guard is doing that for every race this year. And for all of our men and women of the armed forces, God bless you wherever you are, near or far.
Dan Weldon, St. Petersburg, Florida. Panther Racing. The competition level of the IndyCar Series right now is probably the strongest it's ever been. And because of that, I think you have to make sure that during the race weekend, everything is done perfectly. If you're missing one element, the chances of you winning an IndyCar race right now are very slim. And so it's about capitalizing on all the opportunities that you have and making the most out of what you have and not making mistakes.
Dan's best finish this year was 5th at Brazil, 20th at St. Pete, and he finished 11th last weekend at Barber Motorsports Park.
And from this shot, you can see exactly what Dan is talking about. Everyone running nose to tail, the same times, the same cars, the same setups, and those small little details. And from a driving standpoint, Robbie, one little slip, and it all can go out the window.
Well, I've talked to a number of drivers this weekend, Briscoe, Kanaan, and it's no longer a game of tenths that's separated. There's guys that are out searching for hundreds and thousands, and when we've looked at the qualifying grids, that's what's been separating guys from being 3rd back to 9th. There's been sometimes, 4 or 5 thousands of just breaking some. So
Well, guys, Justin Wilson, I talked to him before he went out earlier today, and his teammate Mike Conway said the car's usually better at the latter part of the stint. Justin likes his early as well as late. He's got the car well balanced. I think this is a car that he can win with. He's happy, but the big question that everybody down here in pit row is asking is how long do those red tires last? That's the question that nobody can answer that right now. But you have a nice driver who likes this car, that Z-Line machine, Justin Wilson.
Well, it sure is nice to the fact that he likes the tires on the beginning of the stint and the end of the stint. That's good news. Robbie mentioned everybody. We know everybody up front here is on the Firestone alternate reds. And, some numbers of what guys are running. I think, 20, in the high 20s, guys ran these alternate tires and were pretty happy with their performance and life they were getting on them. So they can go the distance to that first round of stops, I don't think, with any issues.
Ryan Briscoe running 6th. His teammate, Helio Castroneves, right ahead of him. Just a few car lengths ahead. Ryan's best finish this year was at St. Pete. He was 3rd, was 6th last weekend at Barber. Look at how rough the track is in spots.
That was a wiggle for Castroneves coming off. That's a bumpy corner there, Robbie.
And Briscoe's under fire from Dixon.
He's starting to fill his mirrors a little bit, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
And this is just watch him close in as they come into the hairpin here. You'll see Dixon kind of close up there a little bit, but you can't do anything with it. You can't make a pass in there. What you want to do is you want to come off that hairpin and be able to put the power down, and that's just what he's able to do on Dixon right there and give himself a bit of a gap.
First three pretty close together, then a bit of a gap back to the fourth place car, but it is Will Power showing the way. He's led from the drop of the green flag. Next, Ryan Hunter-Reay, then Justin Wilson, Tony Kanaan, and Elio Castroneves. The top five here at the Toyota Grand Prix of Longfreet, 6 through 10, Briscoe, Dixon, Tagliani, Weldon, and Marco Andretti.
The Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach on Versus is presented by Toyota and by Apex Brazil. To learn more about our Brazilian goods and services, log on to experienceourenergy.com.
I'm a mom. I hear hot babysitter a lot. Hi. My Sienna is great. Matches my style. It has great stuff for my kids. It has an available dual view entertainment center. Driving my Sienna says, sure, I'm a mom, but I'm not running around rocking mom jeans.
Miss, there's a diaper bag on your roof.
Please.
Meet the family and the new Sienna on YouTube. Toyota.
It's the first time you're letting your daughter shop on her own. So here's your moment of truth, Mom. Which 3G network would you trust to run apps like Family Locator when it matters most? When you want your 3G network to work, you want Verizon. And right now, buy a Palm smartphone and get a second one free, like the Palm Pre Plus for $49.99 or the Palm Pixie Plus for $29.99. Plus, get the 3G mobile hotspot feature at no additional charge, only at Verizon.
We've talked a lot this year about driving to a fuel number. That's the number that's located on the steering wheel that gives the driver his real-time fuel economy. Now, before this year, you could use this fuel trim knob and go to a leaner mixture to save fuel if you needed to. Now, by regulations, they've taken that away. You can still turn it to position 8, which will let you save fuel under caution, but it's only allowed by the rules under yellow flag conditions. So another couple ways you could save fuel: short shift, meaning upshift earlier than you need to, keeping the revs down, or instead of, let's say, using second gear in a corner, you could then run a higher gear in third. But you know, one of the most effective ways to save fuel on the racetrack is the coast period. In other words, when you're at full throttle, maximum fuel usage at the end of the straightaway, go off of the throttle, but then wait before you go to heavy braking. Just that little bit of coasting saves a tremendous amount of fuel and can make the difference between winning or losing. Now, there's still a lot of trickery that can go on between the teams and the drivers. They may call and say, we need 3.2, we need 3.2. Well, the teams now, because they all listen to each other's radios, have skewed the numbers. So the driver knows, oh, this race, I'm supposed to subtract 0.2. I really only need 3 miles per gallon.
And Jan, that's exactly what Ryan Hunter-Reay and his crew has done. They've put it at 2.8, but they are saving fuel. In fact, that's their strategy. Let's go on board, though, and listen and see if we can see some of what Professor B talked about in terms of coasting just a little bit.
One of the places that she'll do that would be at the end of this front straightaway. Here you try to make hay, Robbie. You want to keep this going, and you're going to be full throttle as we watch telemetry-wise down the straightaway. But when he approaches the braking zone, we'll listen for that coasting zone. forget, when you saw the green throttle and the red brake, there was a delay there. That doesn't sound like much, but that makes a big difference. That could gain you a lap or two, and we know this year a lap or two has made the difference between winning and losing.
And George Klotz, who calls the strategy for Ryan Hunter-Reay, he's got to be happy what he's seeing, because we know Ryan's saving a little fuel, but the guy in front of him, Will Power, isn't checking out. So he's being able to accomplish, you know, the good and the bad. Sometimes when you save fuel, okay, that's great that you're saving fuel, but you can't stay in touch with the leaders. He seems to be getting it done on both ends.
So what does that mean? It means Will Power is also saving fuel. Allegedly. I think if Will Power wasn't saving fuel, he would have disappeared in the distance. I think that he's learned the lesson.
That's exactly what's happening. They figured out what Ryan Hunter-Reay's doing, and Clive Howell and his driver are sitting there, and they're trying to save fuel as well. But the first they just told Will Power, all we got to do is go one lap further than the guy behind you.
That's right. Just 6/10 of a second separating first and second. There's Justin Wilson running in third. Here comes Kanaan, Castroneves, Briscoe, Dixon, and there is Alex Tagliani. Lindy?
Alex Tagliani is saying he's a little bit loose. He was involved in that incident with Marco Andretti. He thinks he's lost a wheel clip. Marco Andretti in better shape. They thought they would have to pit, but it turns out they're just missing the end plate. It doesn't seem to be affecting the handling, the end plate there on the front wing. And in fact, the league technical director looked at it, and he says, guys, that everything looks fine on Marco.
One of the co-owners of that team, Fast Racing Team, Jason Priestley, is in attendance here this weekend. He's been on the pit stand throughout the practice and the qualifying. Just returned from Cannes, I understand. That's in France, Robbie. And is here this weekend. Helio Castroneves looking for his second consecutive win. He is running right behind Tony Kanaan in the 5th position, about 8 seconds behind the leader.
Helio's biggest concern when I talked to him this morning was not pace, not saving fuel. It was all about when do I put on the primary black sidewalls. He was really concerned about the fact that 4 or 5 laps it took for them to come up. He said strategically, when you put them on, he thought was going to be a game changer.
That's interesting. I talked with Ryan Briscoe this morning, and he didn't mention anything about him coming in over 4 or 5 laps. But what he said is when you go to the primary blacks, he said they're very slick. When you go on those cold tires, that first time out of pit lane, he said it really is slick out there, so you have to be cautious.
Down to Robbie Floyd.
Well, I heard the last word. You said tires. What are you telling him?
We're just trying to take a little easy on our tires right now. We're on the alternates. Just hoping they, if this goes a full stint, that we're okay at the end here. And then in turn, when you're taking care of your tires, you're taking care of your fuel.
It's a full-on cat and mouse game right now, isn't it, between yourself and the power team?
Yeah.
It's all part of Long Beach.
We hear what they're saying. They hear what we're saying.
All right, guys, back to you.
Nothing new about that. It's racing. And it is racing in the streets of Long Beach, California, where we are very glad that you join us for this 36th running of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. When you come to Long Beach, as Jan said, expect the unexpected. Will Power has dropped back to 3rd position. There he is just ahead of TK, and Briscoe takes a spot from his teammate, Helio Castroneves. But what happened to Will Power? All of a sudden, it looked like coming off of, I believe it was 11. There was just hardly any power in the car, and he got passed by 2, and then picked up speed. Here it is.
He's there. He's the first one off, being chased by Ryan Hunter-Reay. And now, look at that.
I have an idea.
Yeah?
Could he have hit the pit speed limiter? That's happened to a few people going around the hairpin. And he kicks it at 50 miles an hour. It's possible.
That could be it.
A few people get their hands crossed up. In fact, Ryan Hunter-Reay was one of those that found himself hitting the pit speed limiter. I'm just speculating, but that could have been the factor. Robbie?
I don't know that it was the pit speed limiter, because when Will happen, had that happen out there, man, it was running around like ants back here, and looking at Clive, he was looking up at the left hand like shifter, like something wasn't shifting. Don't know his transmission or something in the shifting itself, but everything seems to be all right now. So whatever it was just temporary, but it looks like things close call here for Clive Howell and the rest of the team for Verizon.
Wow. Well, we know that's something that could happen, because when we were looking there with, as you said, on board with Ryan Hunter-Reay, because we talked to him earlier, is he used to, occasionally he'd go and hit his computer window page, and he said one time he got his pit lane speed limit button, and for that button to engage, you have to be going below 50 miles an hour, and you're doing just that in the hairpin, so it will engage.
Wow, well,
he's running okay now, but
makes it fun for us now.
Yeah.
The fastest car is not waiting.
Yeah, I'm not sure Will's thinking the same way. Okay, that's a little bit more of a challenge for me.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay takes over the lead of the race. Wilson is now second, Howard third, and Jack confirms it was the pit speed limiter. Way to go, Jan. Nice call.
Last year, Will Power ran into some trouble with radios, which affected when they pitted, which in effect cost him the race. So, unexpected.
Justin Wilson now in the Z-Line Designs car is second, and Danica Patrick is 20th. The GoDaddy.com car from Andretti Autosport.
Yeah, and if you think of, look at, they got her tires spat out. Last year she came in an early sequence, and it worked out really well. It cycled her up to the top 5, but then when she got in the top 5, she absolutely held pace. So they're hoping for that same scenario here. And
if you pit now, you are going to super save fuel mode. This is the real gambler stop right now.
Or yellows. Oh yeah,
here she comes. As you can see, the pit entrance is just off corner number 11, and Lindy Danica's headed your way.
And she's sure hoping this works for her, because as you can imagine, she's been pretty frustrated. Started 20th. She says, gee, I really hope I do not finish 20th today. She loves ovals, as you guys know. Road courses, not so much. She doesn't like the same setup as her teammates TK and Ryan Hunter-Reay, so they can't really help her too much. She does this in 8.3 seconds, got all the fuel, and as you can see, she's now on those red tires.
One of the 3 drivers in the field that started on the alternate. So the key for her right now, she wants to get out and have clean running in front of her. She doesn't want to get held up. Really take advantage of those brand new sticker red Firestones.
That was lap 20. We speculated the window would open at 21, so she just snuck in 1 lap early, hoping that if there is a caution now between when the rest of these other cars pit, that will, if they pit, give her effectively a free pass difference.
Scott Dixon right behind Elio Castroneves for the 6th spot.
Tagliani, third in the screen here, he's staying right with these guys.
Yeah, he is.
Again, new team, don't have data. They certainly, with Alan McDonald, he knows a lot as an engineer about Long Beach, but as a team, they don't have the same kind of notebook, and they're doing a great job this year.
Hey guys, keep in mind, Alex Tagliani had a close encounter and crashed into the tire barrier on the first practice session on Friday. He injured his hand to the point where what he had to do is go and have some sort of an MRI on it. Earlier today, he actually went to the medical office, and like a big athlete would for a big game, as they said, went under the needle, took the shot. Robbie Floyd?
Normally, Jack, it's a good thing to have that last pit stall. You can just drive out straight, and that's the case for Will Power, but look at the concrete difference. The concrete's normal, then it goes to a ground section, and all during practice, he kept practicing starts because he's getting no grip. It's great that you can go straight, but if it sounds like you got the clutch in the whole time because you're just burning rubber, you're not going nowhere.
When you talk about what a great job Tag's team has done, he only missed the top 6 here by 0.03 of a second. When we talk about the top show, how competitive it's gotten, it's not tenths, it's hundreds. Well, that's how few it was that he just missed being in that fast 6 here.
Tag has 2 consecutive top 10 finishes in the Eyes on IndyCar Series. Meanwhile, Ryan Hunter-Reay is leading his 2nd race of the season. and only the 4th race of his IZOD IndyCar career. Ryan Hunter-Reay leads over Wilson, Power, and Kanaan. And running in 5th position is Ryan Briscoe. Stay with us on Versus.
Friend has one?
My girlfriend, my older sister.
She has 2 kids.
My college roommate who lives up north.
My mom. My mom. My neighbors.
Our neighbors.
My daughter.
My daughter.
We were in the same class in elementary school. My boyfriend.
My parents.
Our parents. My lovely wife.
And my husband has one.
Yeah, as well as a fellow I work with.
My girlfriend, she moved out east.
I'm a city girl.
Everybody knows somebody who loves a Honda. Who do you know?
Every time I search for a domain name at GoDaddy.com, a girl talks to me. A girl? Watch. SmokingHotDreamGirl.com. That's Danica Patrick.
So, you little maniacs want another domain name?
Yes, please. How about SmokingHotDance.com?
See more now at GoDaddy.com.
Take me out to the brickyard. Take me out with the crowds. Buy me some earplugs and a checkered cap. I don't care if we ever get back. Take me out to the brickyard. Take me out where it's loud. This place has a history that stirs the soul. 100-year drama that never gets old. Let me root over the engine's roar. Let me cheer every driver and car. For it's 300, 400, 500 miles around the old brickyard.
Eastern Conference quarterfinals presented by Discover continues tonight at 6:30 on Versus. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins look to repeat as Stanley Cup champions, but first they'll need to skate past Daniel Alfredsson and the hungry Senators. Senators-Penguins game 3 tonight, 6:30, the Stanley Cup playoffs on Versus. Make it happen. Dan Weldon is coming in for a pit stop. We've had several. Here's Lindy.
And Dan Weldon pulls in, finally feeling like his car's there. It's been a rough 24 hours for him. Just overall grip complaints, just like everyone else. He's in and out in 8.4. He said he just couldn't attack, but then he got on those red tires yesterday. It changed everything. This morning's in warm-up, he went on the blacks. It went great. He's really been able to turn it around. And Bob, he says he feels like he's finally there. He's extremely confident. Today was his season high start, starting in 10.
He is one of several that has made pit stops. Now, you saw in nonstop Dario Franchitti make a stop. Also in Rafael Matos, Simone Di Silvestro, and Takuma Sato. And Sato is running just ahead of our leader.
And don't underestimate the pressure the drivers are under when they dive down pit road. That's not a time for them to relax. Justin Wilson, our second-place runner, he's in. But you can't relax right now. You are under big pressure. You're not in control of everything. Your heart rate definitely pumps up.
First thing we look for is what tires does he go after. He's going for the blacks. So this is the segment in the race where if it does take a while for the heat to get up into these tires, go ahead and do it now because you want to save those red stickier tires for later. Looks like Ryan Hunter-Reay may be set out. Our leader coming in soon.
You saw the guys on the front right and left. They went for one turn of front wing in there, so they just put a little bit more front wing in his car. Very long pit road before you can stop and hit that 50-mile-an-hour button and take off.
Ryan Hunter race crew is set out. We'll know in just a minute here if he will pit this lap. He is coming to the end of the backstretch.
It is almost always, Bob, a benefit if just that one lap going longer. Not just because of strategy, but right now while Justin Wilson is out there fighting on cold tires, he's flying on non-cold tires. So therefore, if you can get out ahead and play the track position game, that one lap should pay dividends for Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Well, but Ryan Hunter-Reay will have to go out on the cold tires as well.
He'll be ahead.
He'll be ahead. No question about it.
Who cares if you're squirrely if you got the guy behind you?
You bet. Park him.
Down to Robbie Floyd as Ryan Hunter-Reay comes in.
And again, going to take off those red Firestones, throw on a set of new blacks. So they're actually scuff blacks. Don't go out there with the shiny ones. You need grip. Go ahead and start off with a little advantage. A full load of fuel, and out goes Ryan Hunter-Reay trying to get back out in front. They're cheering down here, guys. They like that stuff.
Good stop for Ryan Hunter-Reay. He keeps it under 50 as he goes back out onto the racetrack here in just a moment.
There you heard him just push the button, it takes off, and we want to see where he sizes up here with Justin Wilson.
Conway going by.
Sato is spun.
Not going to bring out a yellow.
Nope.
Everybody's good to go there.
Now, after pit stops, Will Power finds himself back in the lead even after that miscue, but of course he hasn't stopped yet. There's Power.
Running behind Matos.
And what they've told Will Power to do is, knowing that he's got to make up a little time, they just told him, forget about fuel mileage, run as hard as you can right now.
And he's not liking the sounds of that when he's being slowed up by Matos, if that's what his orders are.
Just a moment ago, this pass by Scott Dixon.
Castro Neves gets a little bit of lockup, misses the apex, and can't get on the power as soon. And look at that difference. A small mistake. Scott Dixon capitalizes right on by.
Sato, same thing. Now, this is actually going into turn 6 right before the convention center, and he's going to go around right there. And the reason he went around, a little bit of contact.
That was an assist.
Tony Kanaan is on pit lane. His pit stop is completed, and away he goes. Scott Dixon is also in, and Kanaan will get out in front of him.
Incredibly narrow pit lane. We've seen a lot of big incidents over the years when guys are waved out of the pit lane immediately right up into the fast lane. They come together.
Did you see Scott Dixon on the pit road yanking the car left and right? That was, again, trying to get heat into those tires.
Leading that group of cars down is the 14 of Vitor Mira. Behind him, Hideki Muto, EJ Viso, and Simona Di Silvestro in the yellow and black car. So we're looking at 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th as Mike Conway comes back onto the course from the pit stop.
And now his challenge is going to stay in front of that group on the black tires. He's just gone out on cold tires, and we know how slippery they are.
Will Powers on pit lane.
There's another Penske car as well behind him. Looks like Briscoe. Both pitting on the same lap.
Robbie Floyd.
Last year's second place finisher. He won here in Champ Car in 08. Evidently that problem may have been a pit limiter. They had to reevaluate the situation. Let's watch how he launches. He is hauling, and you saw that big push. It sounded like he had his clutch in the whole time, but I promise you, he had it letting out smoothly. He was just getting no traction.
Meanwhile, there goes Ryan Hunter-Reay and Wilson.
All right, and
look at the close competition here.
And that was Conway. You remember we said there he came out on cold tires, and we had Vitor Mira leading this pack, and it just takes about 3 or 4 laps to get the Firestone black tires up to proper operating temperature and grip, and that's the time for the rest of the guys to pounce on that.
And I think that's a great thing, though, Robbie. I mean, you could put tire warmers on, and then you can leave the pits and have all the grip you want, but it makes it so much more of a job for the driver to do if you got to go out there on cold tires. A lot of times they say that separates the men from the boys right there. Ooh, look at this.
Kanaan just all over the back of Briscoe. Oh, hardball as they go into 8. Think that. And that turn 8 that we're looking back going through, that's where all this different surface changes in concrete. I mean, if you miss your braking point at all there, you get a little bit of lockup, and that's where we saw Elio give it up to Dixon back in that same corner.
There comes Elio inside Tagliani at the same time. That was another change of position. Be Marias.
The National Guard car there with Weldon all over the back of Marco as you go into that hairpin. But this is what counts, is the slipstream down that front straightaway. Does Dixon look angsty, a little antsy there, the way he's just charging in on the corners?
But don't you just love street racing? I mean, there's something going on everywhere. In the pits, on the track.
And it's very physical from the standpoint of just how bumpy it is.
Oh, yeah.
And we heard it, you know, an interesting comment at the top of the show. We heard, oh, look at him, look. He's looking
to the inside. Couldn't do it.
But we heard Power say, you know, when you're pushing around here, it almost feels like you could potentially crash almost every lap, just with the changing conditions and how bumpy it is. I was surprised to hear that from him.
Tony Kanaan, fourth. There is a fifth place Briscoe.
And you mentioned Kanaan. This is the old pass, repass. Briscoe gets a little bit of a wiggle. On the outside comes Kanaan. Thinking, I got you. No, I don't. But I can do the over-under. Whoop, I can duck to the inside, go around the outside. See ya.
Fun on the racetrack.
Well, it may be fun if you are Tony Kanaan, but for Ryan Briscoe, that was costly for him. 2 overtakes he had to use to try and send off TK. He is down to just 11 remaining of the original 20 that he started with, guys.
You know, you just used the word fun when we were talking about that battle with TK. It's interesting, all the Andretti Autosport drivers, Danica's been struggling, but the rest of them, when they talk about how things are with the car, they all use the word fun. Ryan Hunter-Ray, Marco Andretti, TK, they say, oh, this is fun. That means they really are getting it figured out in terms of what is a happy and fast race car on these road and street circuits.
The Eyes on IndyCar Series is in the streets of Long Beach, and we have completed 32 of 85 laps. Ryan Hunter-Ray leads Wilson, Power, Kanaan, and Briscoe.
Excitement, that's peak performance, and it's electric.
Look out. Be sure everybody's safe with the Peak backup camera system. It installs in minutes, and anyone can do it. Check the color monitor, and you'll see what you can't see. Stop accidents before they happen. Protect your family with the Peak backup camera system, and be safe out there.
Inside, outside, all around your car. When you peak, you win.
Frankly, the idea of owning a minivan used to make me cry myself to sleep at night. But I gotta say, my Sienna is great. It's super stylish. Oh, and the available dual view entertainment center, awesome. Hold on, I just finished episode 8. Oh boy, if I wasn't married. I tell my husband, the more time I spend in it, the less stressed I feel. And the fewer headaches I get.
Honey, Mommy's having a timeout, okay?
Meet the family and the new Sienna on YouTube. Toyota.
Select iPod IndyCar driver. Driver selected Tony Kanaan. Select race transport. Mission finish first. The fastest drivers in the world. See who wins at racetotheparty.com.
In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the best make it in. The greatest make it eternal. And only Versus makes it happen every night through the Stanley Cup final. Versus, the national cable home of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
April 18th, 2010, and Will Power begins his day in the streets of Long Beach. He sat on the pole. He led the first few laps. But then coming off of corner number 11, we think he hit the pit speed button, and he lost 2 positions. And And Will Power currently runs in third spot behind the leader, Ryan Hunter-Reay, and third place, Justin Wilson.
And Bob, interestingly, when we looked earlier and talked about driving to a fuel number and we showed that fuel knob, you may have noticed that there was a knob right next to it. It said CMB. You can actually, if you so choose, you can disable things on the car. One of those is pit speed limit. If he thinks that might happen to him again, he can go to one of the positions on the other knob. It's done by Honda, so if they ever lose a sensor during a race, they can call him and say, go to position 2, 3, 4, and disable something that's causing the trouble with the car so you can keep going. So if you really want to, you're afraid you're going to hit it, you could actually disable it, but boy, you don't want to forget when it's time to pit.
And why that's so unique that he hit that button, and you say, well, why is that button even there if he can hit it? Well, what makes that happen is this race course and that hairpin. This is the one track where you are getting full lock in that steering wheel and your arms are getting crossed up and your hand could maybe slip off the wheel because it's hit your leg and it bumps that button. So it's the streets of Long Beach and the hairpin that make that happen.
And a name very famous here in the streets of Long Beach, and a driver that we're looking forward to seeing race at the Indianapolis 500 this year, Paul Tracy. He's with Lindy.
Yeah, a couple special things going on with Paul. You got the 500, and your first win was here in 1993, right?
Yeah, my first IndyCar race was here in 91, and my first win was here, and it's definitely tough standing here watching the race, but I'm excited to be back with KV and Geico for Indy, so we'll keep motivated to get ready for that.
What are these drivers here going through? Because you know, tough course?
Tough track, but a surprisingly clean race so far. No yellows. Fuel strategy is going to be key here. There's some people that pitted off sequence and how that plays out towards the end. If the yellow falls, we'll see what happens.
Paul, thanks, and we'll see you in Indy.
Yeah, thank you.
And KV driver Mario Moraes, one of the biggest movers here, started 15th, and Bob, I think he's up to 9th now?
That is correct. Moraes is in 9th position, yep. Danica Patrick is in the 18th spot. 18th. In front of her is Simona Di Silvestro and EJ Viso. Ryan Briscoe is currently in the 5th position with Scott Dixon right behind him.
Ryan Briscoe, Sydney, Australia, Team Penske. I love water sports. You know, anything that's towed behind a boat, I'll be on it. So at home I love to wakeboard or water ski, slalom ski, wake surfing or scurfing, whatever you want to call it. But I love being on the water and anything outdoors in whatever's in the sun. I love it.
Well, it's in the sun now. It's a beautiful day here.
Ryan Briscoe was married during the off-season. Let's go down to Jackaroo.
Bob, down here in the Eyes Out Performex pit, I've just noticed something. We went back and examined all the pit stops. Let's take a look at Helio Castroneves' pit. Do you see the way the road runs off? This is actually a road here in Long Beach, California, so there's a pitch. So we're going to go in closer now and take a look at the fueler, Rich Meredith. Because of that angle and the car is up, basically what Rich is doing is applying extra pressure with the fuel buckeye so that the car doesn't teeter-totter. Those are some of the challenges that these teams have to face during the course of a street race when you've got to put pit road on a regular street.
Also noticing when we zoomed in there watching the fuel buckeye go in there, he also added a little bit of front wing, a couple turns of front wing on there. Obviously, what that's doing is going to put a little bit more downforce on the front of the car so that front gets a little better bite. Instead of pushing and washing out, he wants a little more from it.
And sometimes that's also because that was a stop when they were going from the reds to the blacks. And you'll oftentimes make a quick change because there's a slight balance difference between the two. Interesting if they go back again, if they'll go back and get away.
We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Here comes TK, Briscoe, Dixon. Helio Castroneves right there, and there is our biggest mover. since the drop of the green flag. Mario Marias from KV Racing Technology. He has currently moved up to 9th position. He has gained 6 spots since the drop of the green flag. And Mario Romancini has also been a mover, as has Patrick and Conway.
Now, speaking of Mario Marias, he definitely struggled at the beginning of the year. But what a difference a top engineer makes. Ian Watt has joined this team, and he has a long history. Started back with TPI, things with Team Green, Mo Nunn, Eddie Cheever. Most recently, he was working with Robbie Gordon over on the NASCAR side of things, but he has a lot of experience, and obviously he and Mario are on the same page now.
And that team, KV Racing, they were a one-car effort last year with Mario. Now they've gone to 3 cars. So eventually, once that team starts coming together and they start sharing information amongst the drivers and the engineers, they are really going to come to life.
39 laps have just been completed. We have had 2 leaders and 3 lead changes in the first 39 circuits. 85 will make up the distance of the Long Beach Grand Prix.
Bed in America.
Sunny Southern California. The weather has been just beautiful since we arrived. Finally at Sports Show that talks with you and not at you, the Daily Line. Our hosts cover the day's hottest topics and invite you to join the conversation live by calling in, texting, emailing, or tweeting. Tomorrow night's episode will feature special guest Chuck Liddell. The Daily Line, weeknights at 6, live only on Versus. Every year, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach attracts a very large crowd, and we have one again this year. A whole weekend of racing. American Le Mans Series was here. Also, of course, the Firestone Indy Lights. And now the headliner, the Eyes on IndyCar Series, and we are seeing Ryan Hunter-Reay out front by about almost 3 seconds over Justin Wilson.
And it really is, you know, for the drivers, teams, participant, fans. I mean, it is a party in the streets of Long Beach. I mean, depending on what your commitments are and what you have to do and when you can walk around, as they got the Ferris wheels lit up at night, you got the boats, you got the downtown. It is a fun place. It's great.
Hey, fellas, let me update you. I've been analyzing that first round of pit stops, and as much as I like what Hunter-Reay has done out front, doing a good situation, the guy that has really got my attention right now, Will Power did it on lap 29, as did Ryan Briscoe. But here's a guy that snuck in, Alex Tagliani, currently in the 8th position. Those guys, I guarantee you, can go and make this a 2-stop race. The other fellow that I'm really watching, because we always do, is Scott Dixon. He only finished 1 lap earlier. Let's check in on the second place car. Robbie Floyd, you've got the guy that's calling the tactics there, don't you?
That's exactly right. Larry Curry calling the shots for Justin Wilson. How is he doing out there? Is he saying much?
No, he's not saying a lot. I mean, the car's been really good all day so far. We're just working on his fuel numbers so that we can do one more stop.
So no adjustments have been made to this car. Is he happy with the reds and the blacks? I mean, how is it going as far as the tires? Because some people were questioning how much distance you could get out of those reds earlier.
Yeah, so far when we ran the first set there on the reds, the car started going off just a little bit at the very end, but these blacks have been absolutely consistent.
The perfect day right now for Brian Reinbold, at least Larry Curry and Justin Wilson's car in the Z-Line machine.
And Robbie, interesting that you would use the word perfect, because it's been a long time since I've heard a driver say, my car was as near perfect, and in his case, he said, it is the best car, Robbie, he says he's ever had at Long Beach, including when he was on the pole here. And as his team owner, that's going to make you feel pretty good.
No, it does feel good. But as a driver, he didn't say perfect, did he? Near perfect, exactly. Even, you know, he could win this. Any driver out here could win this race going away, but they'll never say they had the perfect race car. There's always something more out there. Oh.
We are past halfway of this event on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, on board with Graham Rahal running back in 21st position. The Dollar General car owned by Sarah Fisher Racing. and his 3-race commitment is up with the team, and so we are very anxious to see where Graham Rahal will go next. We certainly hope that he has a ride for the rest of the season.
And that team, Sarah Fisher Racing, Grant, they have been working really hard to find a happy balance on that race car, and they've just tried 100 different things, and everything they try, they just can't get it to respond the way they want, and that can be frustrating. You never give up. You always search for new things to fix it, but it's tough.
Dan Weldon is running in 10th position in the National Guard car for Panther Racing.
And for Dario Franchitti, who's closing in on some of these braking zones, remember, he was one of the early stoppers. And unfortunately, because there was no caution, it backfired. You don't want to be on the early stop strategy. You heard Jack say there are 3 or 4 people that stopped on lap 29 on the late strategy. At the moment, that's the one you want to be on.
TK having a good race. He's running in 4th spot. I don't think he has been lower than that at all, except for his pit stop. So Tony Kanaan running in 4th position in the 7-Eleven machine. Right behind him is Ryan Briscoe with Team Penske.
Talked a little bit at the open of the show how he confessed that he had to raise his game in qualifying. He knew that they had had some great races. He was leading in Brazil and then slipped wide and plowed into the tires, but he knew he had to raise the game, and he did it here at a place you really have to hang it out in qualifying.
Well, it looked like Dixon got really close to the wall coming out.
You know, and think about how much difference a year makes for a guy like Briscoe. I mean, he was dominant last year, you know, just couldn't do anything wrong, whether it was on the street or road courses or super speedways. And now look at how he's struggling, if you call it struggling. He just shows you how competitive things have gotten. And him as the driver, he's the first to say that it's as tough as it's ever been.
Bertrand Baguette there, running just ahead of our leader, Ryan Hunter-Reay. Baguette, of course, is a rookie in the series. This is only his second Eyes on IndyCar Series start. He finished 20th at Barber last week.
Driving for Eric Bachelard, so, you know, eventually those 2 team drivers for Conquest, they will get better. Looking at tags in for his stop.
Making sure they get a full load of fuel, and Tagliani is away. Any changes, Lindy?
Yeah, no changes. He was complaining of understeer, but that's not why he came in, Bob. They say they are going off strategy. They're risking things. Team manager Rob Edwards says he's going to meet with me in just a second and say why they're doing that, but I'm sure you might want to speculate a little bit.
So, yeah, so does that mean they think they can go the distance? They're obviously banking on a number of laps of yellows at this point. I mean,
they are going, well, it's a strategy change, but it's a 3-stop strategy. There's no way you're going to make it 2 stops from here. So it's a case where we'll find out from Rob Edwards to find out exactly what he's thinking, but you're committing yourself to a 3-stop strategy if you pit now.
Right behind Graham Rahal is Takuma Sato. Meanwhile, behind them, here comes Ryan Hunter-Reay, the leader. And there you see the lap on which they pitted, and Tagliani just went in. That was on lap 46.
Here comes Rahal.
And now Sato will try to get by.
And remember, we just saw Tagliani come out of the pits. Remember we said being on those cold tires, it takes a couple laps to get pressure and temperature up.
Oh, he's dragging.
Yep.
The tires are up, but I believe he's got suspension.
Something on the right front that's drawing a little bit of spark underneath there.
He's near pit entrance, so he will come in for a look-see at what's going on.
And the left rear tried to lock up, meaning that would be the right front suspension, then most likely there's an issue on that side.
Yeah, as the weight goes diagonally.
The teeter-totter principle there.
All right, Lindy, you promised us Rob Edwards. Let's hear from him.
And here he is. And Rob, you're clearly going off strategy. What's your plan here?
Well, it wasn't quite the strategy we planned on. We had a problem on the first stop, so we've stretched the middle segment as far as we can. We're going to try and get to the end from here, but we need quite a bit of yellow help to get there.
Yeah, so you're committing to a 3-stop strategy, but you're hoping it's just 2.
Exactly. We're going to try and make it 2, but we need a lot of luck to get there.
How's the understeer, by the way?
Sorry?
How's the understeer in the car?
The balance of the car is real good. Alex was very happy with the balance of the car. As I say, just had a little fuel problem. We'll see if we can figure something out.
Yeah, was that a short fill when he came in?
The fill just now was a long fill. Try and get as much in to, let's say, hopefully get to the end of the race if we can.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And so far in the first 49 laps of this event, we have had no cautions. We have been green from the drop of the flag. It is Ryan Hunter-Reay leading Justin Wilson, Will Power, Tony Kanaan, and Ryan Briscoe.
Imagine a future where ingenuity meets performance. Born in industry and perfected on the track. Royal Purple Motor Oil enhances performance and offers superior protection for anything wrapped in metal.
Your car's ready to go.
Huh? Sir? Your car? Oh, thanks.
Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms Iron Man 2 in theaters May 7th.
I'm really proud to be a part of it. Love, it's pretty amazing.
Her name is Amanda Brookman, and she is my destiny, although she may not know that, per se. So you can go online and make any kind of car you want. I made a love car.
Do I think they stand a chance? I mean, who doesn't love love? I love love.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Who?
Are the Nets going to be the worst team since the Sixers? Stinky New Jersey Nets. At least they're learning. Have you seen them play? It looks like one of those montages from, like, Bad News Bears. Like the beginning of Bad News Bears or, like, the first half hour of Major League. You know what I mean? Get a full league going of D-League. If you're the worst team, you go down. That best D-League team, they come on up. The Tulsa 66ers, they're in the NBA. The Nets are going to the D-League. The Daily Line on Versus, weeknights at 6. Your night of sports starts here.
The next Eyes on IndyCar Series race will be on ABC. Elio Castroneves, Danica Patrick, Scott Dixon, and everybody will be at the Kansas Speedway for their first oval race of the season. That will be on Saturday, May 1st at 1:30 Eastern Time on ABC. So the temporary and street circuit first part of the year is over after today, and they will have then 4 consecutive ovals, including the Indianapolis Motor Speedway after Kansas, and then Texas and Iowa.
On board with Hunter-Reay there, and you're looking at Alex Lloyd. He's probably getting a little frustrated right now because he's been behind Alex for a couple laps, and he's gotten a good run on, but just can't get by him cleanly.
Ryan Hunter-Reay has led 31 laps so far. We're doing it through the field to show you where the guys are running on the racetrack. And boy, that interval between first and second has really closed up as Justin Wilson is right on the rear wing now.
Pretty much gone away there, hasn't it? Yeah.
Completely. Back in third position is the 12 car of Will Power, who led at the beginning of the race, and something happened. We think he hit the pit stop or the pit speed limit button. Here is Tony Kanaan, and we're on board with him. He's running in fourth position. And we'll turn the camera around to show you who's behind him. And that would be Ryan Briscoe.
And all these laps are critical, Bob, because we're within a couple of laps of when you could make your final pit stop. So people are working really hard right now. These pay.
Here's Scott Dixon. He's running in sixth spot. Castroneves is next in the serial scoring and next on the racetrack. He is 7th. Elio Castroneves.
And the safety number I had for making a pit stop is about lap 52 to get home. Lindy?
Danica pulls in on those red tires. They're taking those off and putting on sticker blacks, filling it up with fuel. By the way, guys, she finished 4th here in 09, if you remember, and she is out in 9 seconds flat.
And Jan reminded me at dinner last night that 2 years ago was the sort of anniversary of her win in Japan because she flew here for the final Champ Car race. Look at Ryan
Hunter Ray has got to save some fuel, but he's got to get by Alex Lloyd, who's fighting to stay on the end of the lead lap. And he has been stuck behind him for a long time, and Justin's like, yeah. Oh, this is nice. There he goes.
And you want to know how he did that, fellas? That's that Honda overtake button.
Look out. He wasn't patient enough. He saw an opportunity, and this is Justin Wilson going to have to go onto pit road.
Oh, man.
That's crushing, huh?
That is. Ryan Hunter Ray was patient and waited and waited and waited. He can't blame Justin Wilson. He saw an opening and he forced it. There wasn't enough room.
He'll be diving in right now.
Yep.
Be ready. They're going to have to take that whole front nose assembly off.
Wow.
The only bit of good news is that if you take it easy on fuel, you could make it to the end here. So it's not like he picks up yet another stop, but that'll hurt.
Did you see Justin have some gesturing going down pit road there?
Yep.
The car wasn't perfect like you talked about, Robbie. It's never perfect. They were going to have a half a turn of adjustment on the front wing. Unfortunately, they need a whole new front wing. They're having a hard time even getting this thing up here. And like you said, they should have enough fuel to be able to go the whole way, but this has just killed them unless something crazy happens later. As the time ticks off 15 seconds and they still have not got that front wing on. They made the adjustment. Of course, they have plenty of fuel, and that just killed Justin Wilson's day.
A pit stop that lasted about 3 times longer than a normal one when they got the nose finally on the car. Here it is once again from Ryan Hunter Ray's onboard camera. Watch the contact there between Alex Lloyd and Justin Wilson.
He tried to abort. I know he saw the opening, and a lot of times when you go by a lapped car and he knows, and that's him saying, you got to get those lapped cars out of the mud. We're trying to race for the lead here. What are you guys thinking?
You were clean, I think. You gave the clean version of that. That's what I'm guessing.
There'll be no X-rated version of that. Well, now Ryan Hunter Ray has a 4.5, almost 5-second lead on Will Power. As a bad break for Justin Wilson drops him back. So now it's Hunter Ray, Power, Kanaan, Briscoe, and Dixon in the top 5.
Winner, Elio Castroneves. Danica Patrick into the lead, making history. Fans on their feet for the side-by-side action. Mario Brantini, your series champion.
Leave your mark on the 2010 Indianapolis 500-mile race, May 30th.
12 summers of boat hauling, 63 miles of commuting daily. For any extreme from the road to the racetrack, nothing beats Mobil 1. The choice of over half of all NASCAR teams. So put some NASCAR in your car. Mobil 1.
Playdates are a great way for my kids to learn to deal with other kids. You know, when they get out here, unbelievable. He has a Sienna? I thought we were friends, Gary. I really needed the space. You got the same car seat in there, Gary. Wait right there while Daddy puts all this stuff back in the car. When this kind of thing happens, when another parent tries to copy your style, you just have to be the better man.
Meet the family and the new Sienna on YouTube. Toyota.
run non-stop on Versus. Couple of pit stops, one by Dario Franchitti and by Ryan Briscoe, both back out there on the racetrack. And now, Robbie, we see the leader coming in, Ryan Hunter-Reay.
That looks to be the case. Patience is a virtue, and that was the case for Ryan Hunter-Reay. His crew has a set of scuffed. Black's ready to throw on this Heizog car. And as I set it up, it's going to look like a tear off. Clean vision. They got to get a full load of fuel. They take off a clean start, Jack Carew. Good job for Ryan Hunter-Reay's crew. Again, cheers from the crowd around me.
Ryan Hunter-Reay pulls out as they continue to work on Will Power's car. He lights it up, gets the traction, and now he races at 60 miles an hour to the end of pit road.
Wow, I'm somewhat surprised they both took blacks.
Yeah.
Well, Castro Neves is not.
Exactly.
That's what I would want. I would want that. He's got a brand new set of reds. That's what I would want to finish the race.
But maybe what they really like is the life of the blacks and just guarding against any fall off with the softer reds.
I can see it for Ryan Hunter-Reay, but Will Power's still playing catch-up. So very interesting. It's nice. That's what you want. You want the end of the race with a mix. And I think we're going to have a mix.
The lead goes to Tony Kanaan with the first two making pit stops. So TK inherits the lead.
That's got to feel good.
Yeah.
Taking him a while.
Off the corner.
There he goes.
He will come into the pits.
See what his tire choice is.
Again, you know, the drivers right now, this is not a time where they can relax. They got to come in here. They got to hit their marks, maybe get a quick drink out of their drink bottle there. They're watching what goes on.
He's going for blacks. There goes Hunter-Reay.
Yep. Coming out of the pits.
Oh, but see, Graham did that. Graham did that on purpose. That was very nice job of driving. He knew the leader was coming. He didn't gas it leaving the pits, and he let him go.
Yep.
That was nice.
And there goes Rafa Matos by him on the inside.
You know, that's when it's not your day, don't mess up other people's day.
Yep.
Nice job, Graham Rahal.
And it will come back to him. There will be a time in his career where that will be repaid.
There is Scott Dixon, who has the lead now.
We'll see if he peels off here. Put the power down. Is he going to peel right? Sure enough, he was peeling in.
Here it is once again as the leader came quickly under Graham Rahal.
Yeah, see, he swung wide, giving him room, backed off. Yeah, nice job of driving.
Yeah, and Rahal couldn't do anything more. He couldn't park at the pit lane. He just went slow.
Dixon makes his pit stop, and the lead goes back to Ryan Hunter-Reay. There he goes.
There he goes.
Nice shot. He also goes for blacks.
Coming into today's race, Ryan Hunter-Reay had led a total of 33 laps in his IZOD IndyCar Series career. Today, he has led 37 and is in the lead. The pit cycle is over. It is now Ryan Hunter-Reay, Power, Mike Conway, who has not made a pit stop. But Ryan Hunter-Reay is in command here in the streets of Long Beach on Versus. We'll be right back. The first full course caution is out at Long Beach. It involves a two-car accident involving Graham Rahal and Mario Romancini. It's in turn number 1. And Graham has had a few words with Mario as Mario continues to sit in his car. Not a happy person, Graham Rahal, after making a very sportsmanlike gesture when the leader, Ryan Hunter-Reay, came under him. He gets taken out. And here's the replay. Here's what happened.
Into 1.
Wow. That was a late dive bomb there.
Yeah, because what constitutes a really clean pass is pull up alongside him.
Yeah,
and he just poked in. You got to be up alongside the guy to take the corner away.
You can even see Graham check the mirror, then turn, then powie.
Yeah. And look at how he takes his hands right back off the wheel. And then just the wheel went...
Way to break your wrist if you hold on, and he didn't. Look at this. Look at this again.
Okay, so you're here. All of a sudden, you feel pow. And then your brain says, oh, I'm going to hit. Get my hands off the wheel. Why? Poof. I mean, that right there, that's going to hurt you.
Well, and that's what, you know, we haven't really talked about, but Tagliani got in the wall in practice, and it yanked the wheel and hurt his left wrist.
He got his hand stuck
in that wheel. So imagine just a little bit of tire swing when it flings that wheel like we just saw on Graham's car. It can hurt.
I had prepared information about how this was going to be the second time in 5 races that we were going to run without a caution, but not so.
But it's great news. People who are out of it are now back in it. One of them, Justin Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay, Will Power gets to close up behind Hunter Ray. All of a sudden, who cares if you save fuel? All right, this is what you want. They've already stopped, then they can go for it and have a shootout on the streets.
And it's what we love. You can't predict anything. That's expected, unexpected.
That's right. Good stuff. There are now 24 laps to go in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach.
The Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach on Versus is brought to you by Aqua Hydrate, water for people who know the difference, and by Peak Performance Products. When you peak, you win.
Excitement, that's Peak Performance, and it's electric.
With the Peak Jump Starter, you don't need another car to jump your dead battery. Just hook it up and start it up, and you're on your way. And the Peak Jump Starter has a low charge alert system. An alarm sounds when your jump starter needs recharging. Get a Peak Jump Starter, so you'll always have the protection of power when you need it.
Inside, outside, all around your car. When you peak, you win.
Well, we wanted to do something for our fans.
I want Kyle Busch in a pink car in a pink suit.
And now, they get to be our sponsors.
This has always been artistic.
And she loves those cats.
Who doesn't like kittens, bunnies, and little baby seals?
I love you.
No, thank you, sweetheart.
No, write that on the spoiler.
Okay.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Select iGuard IndyCar driver. Driver selected, Marco Andretti. Select race transport. Mission, finish first. Fastest drivers in the world. See who wins at racetotheparty.com.
12 summers of boat hauling, 63 miles of commuting daily. For any extreme from the road to the racetrack, nothing beats Mobil 1. The choice of over half of all NASCAR teams. So put some NASCAR in your car. Mobil 1.
Tell you what, that's a nice ride. Yeah, she's a rocket. You still running tight in the middle? She was pushing a little. I took about a half round out. Not a full round? Don't worry. My baby moves. That's right. Get in his head, Brianna.
Racing fans aren't like other fans. Get the inside track from Verizon Championship Racing on VCast with highlights, analysis, and exclusive interviews with the best drivers in racing. All on America's largest 3G network, Verizon.
36 years of history being written once again here at the streets of Long Beach for the Toyota Grand Prix. Great crowd on hand, and it has been an incredible race so far, and far from over. 62 of 85 laps completed, and with this first caution, the field is going to be bunched up for what we hope will be a very exciting finish. The Grand Marshal of this event, Mark Wahlberg, and he is with our Jackaroo.
Yeah, Bob, he's down here at the IZOD Performance Pit Center, and he brought his posse with him, or his entourage, as I like to say. And I thought they were coming to see me, but they've been traveling with you. Grand Marshal of this race, what are your impressions so far?
Oh, this is awesome. You know, he's got my 4-year-old son out here. It's our first race together. He's ecstatic. I mean, the excitement, the level of intensity here is just insane.
Care to pick a winner?
You know what? I like Team IZOD. I like Team IZOD. You know what? I like to see, my boy Hunter Ray. You know, these guys are incredible. I actually golfed with him. He came out to my golf tournament. I'm just happy to be out here. This is awesome that I've gotten to be a part of it.
Mark, we're happy to have you with us. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, buddy. This is the best.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Guys,
That's one of the neat things about coming to Long Beach. Get to see some movie and TV stars. Some of which, of course, raced, as you pointed out, Robbie, in the Toyota Celebrity race yesterday. Some of them not all that impressively.
Yeah, some of them had a little bit too much speed going into turn 1.
Yeah.
But that's an event that the fans just love.
Oh, yeah.
The history of that. That's part of the appeal of this race is to see those celebs get behind the wheels and challenge themselves to do it in battle on the streets.
Yep. Graham Rahall's battered car is being lifted from the racetrack. We should be going back to green here before too long. And Alex Tagliani was off sequence, of course. We heard him, the fact that he had a bad first pit stop, and now he does have the fuel to go the rest of the way.
Now, and it puts him back up, Jan, as you're about to say. But here's one thing. Rob Edwards studies where cautions come. And he had told me before the race, he was uncertain because he said, in the last third of a race here at Long Beach, only 11% of the time has a caution come out. This time, he went against the odds, and it's benefited him.
Yes, unfortunately, he had to give up Jack 11th spot. And when he says there was a problem in the first stop, what that means is they didn't get all the fuel. Because when they first stopped, they were well within the window of making a 2-stop race. But Robbie's, something goes wrong during a pit stop, you don't get all the fuel. That just cooks your strategy.
And let us reiterate, when Justin Wilson had the contact with Alex Lloyd and tore the front wing off, we all said, oh, man, his day is done. But actually, he was within his pit window, and it really didn't hurt him that much. And now with the caution, he's right in the middle.
Well, we did preface that by saying the good news is, while he's changing that wing, he was on the early side of the 2-stop window, so he doesn't have to stop again. There's no question. This is advantage Justin Wilson.
Yep. And here's the incident we're talking about.
Just poking his nose in there, looking at Alex Lloyd, and clips that left front, and that's all it takes.
And Larry Curry, who's calling the shots for Justin Wilson, was angry because he was talking to the IRL saying, this guy up in front of us is trying to race with us, and he's a lap down. So that's his job. He's supposed to complain, but he was upset. And, of course, Justin got the nose in there and chopped off. Now, they made that adjustment on the new wing. They had the problems. They cycled through. He started third place. He's in third place. The race is in front of him now. It's just out there for him to grab. And a side note, all the problems that are happening in Great Britain with the volcanic ash? Justin's parents were supposed to be here, but they got hung out by that. But his wife is here, Julia, and his 2-year-old daughter, Jane and Jess, are watching too. And hopefully, Daddy can take the win today.
Just to pick up a little bit more on Justin, because I've gotten to know him pretty well here in the last 2 months. There's not a better guy and more capable in the cockpit. We see what he can do there. But outside of the car, just absolutely level-headed. Goes around, thanks his crew guys after every session. We definitely saw him get a little ramped up and a little animated when he came down pit lane towards Coyne's crew. I absolutely think he's got the ability now. That's behind him. He's realized he's got a second chance to attack this.
One point worth bringing up, though, is that Alex Lloyd was trying to fight to stay on the lead lap. The moment that Hunter Ray went by him, he had lost that fight. And Justin expected that he would have said, I lost my lap. I'm going to let him go through, too. So that was why you would see Justin Wilson take a risk.
2 cars between the leader and second place as they go down the backstretch just prior to taking the green flag. Rafael Matos is right behind Ryan Hunter-Reay, and Takuma Sato in the Lotus car is right behind Rafael Matos. And we might mention, I don't know whether we talked about this on the air or not, but we suggested that the way they would make the Lotus car complete is to put a white ball and the number in it. They did, and now that even takes a step further as the most beautiful car on the racetrack. Okay, here we go. Ryan Hunter-Reay, your leader. The green flag comes out once again. The Apex Brazil restarts, and let's see how much ground will Power can make up here. Justin Wilson is right behind Power.
Well, what a great start, Ryan Hunter-Reay. Look at the gap that he's got back there. He's got the 2 guys in between him. And look out, Wilson.
No.
Wow. So Ryan Hunter-Reay's still got those 2 lap cars, but between him and Power. Wow.
And he lost some momentum. I thought maybe Justin Wilson was going to be able to pass him.
Great restart by Hunter-Reay.
Yep.
Really heads up.
Well, he earned that position. He has been very patient today, hasn't taken unnecessary risk, and he had a clear road ahead of him with a couple of lappers behind, and off you go. That was nice.
So since that broke the momentum of power there, you see the horizon on that back wing. Is that going to give Justin Wilson an opportunity just to get a little closer and maybe force a bit of a mistake and an opportunity?
If it were me, I would wait for him to start to make a move on one of those lap cars ahead and then try and make a sandwich out of it.
Danica Patrick goes to the inside of Simona Di Silvestro in turn number 1 of the restart and makes the pass cleanly. And Tagliani comes along also.
Oh, this is close.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Look at Wilson to the inside of Will Power. Is he going to take the spot? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Justin Wilson to second.
And that is a nice, clean pass. He pulled up, got the inside line. That's the way you do it in one.
And now Justin Wilson, runner-up. He finished second at St. Petersburg. Was 7th last week at Harbor. And this is the way you get it done.
And what we talked about, really just pulling up alongside him to take that line away. And that's what he does. Here he's coming up alongside. He's going to go to the inside. Right there. Keep that momentum. But he gets up alongside. And now Power can't turn in till he gives up the corner to Wilson. So that's nice and clean.
You're not allowed to block, but you can kind of take your time and going from one side to the other.
But it was a little bit like being on the freeway because Wilson had already depressed the overtake button. He was building an awful lot of momentum. And that was what he used to still finalize that pass, even though he got a little crowded.
Now we'll keep track here. It's 3.8 seconds between first and second. We'll see if Wilson is able to close in and cut the interval between himself and the leader, Ryan Hunter-Reay. But again, there are a couple of cars between them. Mike Conway is running back in 10th position. Not a bad day at all for Mike Conway in the other Dreyer and Reinhold car. And about a half a lap ago, we caught this action.
Yeah, there you go.
The inside of Dario Franchitti. Yeah.
Well, remember, Conway had a very, very fast car in St. Pete. Unfortunately, got caught up in an incident, so you just got to have that patience. But we know he's fast, and obviously some confidence in his car to throw it down underneath Dario there.
Started 16th, currently running in 10th, Mike Conway. Here comes Ryan Hunter-Reay. Then the lap car of Matos, then the lap car of Sato, and then second place, Justin Wilson.
That is close to a 4-second gap between first place of Ryan Hunter-Reay and back to Wilson with those two lap cars between them.
Now think about driver psyche. The only problem that Justin Wilson has had all day is with a lap car. Now he's got 2 lap cars between he and the leader. Yep. Like, all right, I've been down this road once today.
And one of the things that Justin Wilson is using is that overtake, Bob, and he's trying to use it to get around this traffic to close on Ryan Hunter-Reay. Update on your leader, though. He only has 9 overtakes left. Will Power back in third has the most, 17.
And we see Takuma Sato pulling out of the way and allowing some faster cars to pass by. Nice move on his part. And there is Tony Kanaan also going by Takuma Sato. Ryan Hunter-Reay leads with 68 out of 85 laps completed here in Long Beach, California.
Take me out to the Brickyard. Take me out with the crowds. Buy me some earplugs and a checkered cap. I don't care if we ever get back. Take me out to the Brickyard. Take me out where it's loud. This place has a history that stirs the soul. 100-year drama that never gets old. Let me root over the engine's roar. Let me cheer every driver and car. For it's 300, 400, 500 miles around the old Brickyard.
They say kids can't keep anything nice. Well, please. I say teach them when they're young, you know? When their brains are like sponges and they can learn things. You're doing such a good job. What's cool about my Sienna? Well, 2 things. The available dual-view entertainment center, so much fun. And the second thing is the styling. I mean, it's like they took my essence, bottled it, and then poured it all over the car. Oops. Proud of you, honey. But get more sponges, okay?
Meet the family and the new Sienna on YouTube. Toyota.
It's very definitely a family atmosphere here at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Barry Curry watches his driver, Justin Wilson, trying to catch Ryan Hunter-Reay, with whom we are on board right now. And the interval is 5.1 seconds. It was 3.8 a while ago, but Ryan Hunter-Reay has stretched the advantage.
And for Ryan Hunter-Reay, he knows he's not being pressured from behind, so now he just has to concentrate on hitting his marks, hitting those break points, the turn-in points, because we do know how challenging this track is. From what all the drivers have said, just sometimes the grit can change a little bit if you miss one point, so he just needs to be in that routine of focusing in that. And sometimes you say I'm going to slow down a little bit and just cruise, that can break him in. So he's got to keep pushing and doing just what he has been doing.
Prix Rahal, the victim of an unfortunate incident. Let's get down and talk with him, Lindy.
You told me you think Roman Cini just punted you there. We saw you get out and talk to him. What'd you say?
Yeah, I just said, what are you thinking? And he said, oh, sorry, I missed my braking marks a little. And I, it's been a disappointing weekend and a disappointing end to it. We're really just trying to get through the race. Radio wasn't really working, drink bottle wasn't working, so it's been a tough day, but to end it that way is just incredibly frustrating, and really wanted to get the Dollar General guys another good result.
Even before this, it was frustrating because you say you were making changes to the car all weekend and nothing was changing.
Yeah, it's been, the last 3 weekends have been that way. We made a lot of changes. Nothing has happened. We can't improve, and this weekend really highlighted that. So it's been really difficult, but I think we figured out what it is. We're going to go back to the shop, get the tub tested to make sure the tub's not cracked, which is what we think it is. And then, hopefully the FSR and Dollar General group can regroup for the rest of the year.
Yeah, your last race with SFR. I hate to put you on the spot, but people want to know. Any word where we'll see you next?
I've been working really hard on a couple things, and unfortunately we got a little curveball thrown at us here a couple weeks ago, but we're working really hard to get back, racing at Kansas hopefully, but I think realistically maybe Indy or beyond. So if not then, we'll try to regroup and focus for next year.
Bob, there you have it from Graham Rahal.
On Thursday night, Graham's dad, Bobby Rahal, a legend in himself, emceed an event here in Long Beach honoring the Road Racers Club, and the specific honoree was Parnelli Jones. But you talk about a gathering that included some idols for me. I mean, we're talking Danny Sullivan, Dan Gurney, just a whole list of drivers who were there for a very, very fun event as part of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Well, next segment, we're going to show you a recap of some of the things that have happened here in the first 73 laps. Only 12 to go at Long Beach. Doesn't get much better than watching racing on the weekends and hockey during the weeknights. And the Stanley Cup playoffs are the place that you will find them on Versus. The Eastern Conference quarterfinals presented by Discover continues tonight at 6:30. The Penguins take on the Senators. That's at 6:30 tonight. Game number 3 here on Versus. That's right after our coverage of this event. Going to be tough to beat those Penguins this year, Robbie.
Yeah, never count the weeks.
That's true. Ryan Hunter-Reay continues to lead. He now has a 5.7-second advantage on Justin Wilson, and Jan can take us through what's happened so far.
One of the best starts that we've seen here for a long time, and what a way to watch a start than in the seat of Tony Kanaan. Nice, aggressive start, gets himself in a perfect position and say, hang on a minute, I got some stop-and-go Southern California traffic. I think I'll hang right here in fourth. But nice job for Tony Kanaan. Everyone respecting each other's space, sliding into those spots. Then, Will Power, does he have the race covered? Yeah, it looks like it until, hang on a minute, I'm on the pit speed limiter. Ryan Hunter-Reay's thinking, woohoo, baby, what just happened there? I got myself a gift. Justin Wilson. We've looked at this a couple of times. Good news, bad news. Bad news, I lost my front wing. Good news, I got hit in the window. Lap 60, this was just unfortunate. You heard Graham Rahal said that Mario Romancini said, well, just kind of missed the breaking point there, Graham. But that is a lot of damage for a car that he was just trying to nurse around. And the pass of the day, I'd have to say, Justin Wilson. Will Power saying, well, I'll slide over here a bit late, but that is a picture-perfect way to put yourself up in the second spot.
One caution, 5 laps during this race, 3 leaders, 5 lead changes. Ryan Hunter-Reay has led the most laps at an average speed of almost 93 miles an hour, Jack.
You saw that pass that Justin Wilson put on Will Power. Well, right here on the steering wheel, we talk about all the time, that's the overtake button. That's the OT. That's what Wilson used. Now, remember, with the only 10 laps to go in this race, Wilson has enough to push it every lap. The same can't be said for Ryan Hunter-Reay. Let's see if the gap narrows, guys.
Yep, 9 pushes left for Ryan Hunter-Reay and 12 for Wilson and Power.
Well, you can see looking out the back of Hunter-Reay that there's nobody pressuring him. And as a driver, like I say, he knows nobody's behind him. He's just got to hit his marks, bring it home. But don't think you can relax. Sometimes when you think you can relax in the cockpit, that's when you miss those little subtleties. I just talked about it, but just can't emphasize it enough of just staying focused.
8 laps to go in Long Beach. We'll take a break here and be back for the finish of the race. Wilson, Power, Dixon, and Kanaan are your top 5, and Ryan Hunter-Reay is in command.
The Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach on Versus is presented by Toyota and by Peak Performance Products. When you peak, you win. And by Apex Brazil. To learn more about our Brazilian goods and services, log on to experienceourenergy.com.
500 drivers put complete trust in their cars. But when you're out on the road trying to make it to work, are you sure you can trust your motor oil?
Put your trust in Peak Performance Motor Oil. Formulated to protect against thermal breakdown, Peak is the only motor oil tough enough to be the official oil of the Indianapolis 500.
Whether you cover 500 miles in a few hours or it takes hours to get to work, you can count on Peak. When you peak, you win.
I'm really proud to be a part of it. Love, it's pretty amazing.
Her name is Amanda Brookman, and she is my destiny, although she may not know that, per se. So you can go online and make any kind of car you want. I made a love car.
Do I think they stand a chance? I mean, who doesn't love love?
I love love.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Who?
You're coming towards turn 1 at over 230 miles an hour.
We're going so fast that turn 2 is already finishing. You're like, come on, I just entered turn 1.
It's a long, fast left-hand corner.
And as you exit that corner, there's a real big bump there. Keep the wheel straight. Hard ride.
Down to the white line on the apex, close to the wall on the exit.
And hopefully you come out on the other side to finish the rest of the lap.
Jenkins, Jan Vikas, Robbie Buell, Jack Arute, Robbie Floyd, and Lindy Thaxton back at Long Beach, California. It has been a spectacular weekend for us here and a great race, culminating in the 36th annual Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach with Ryan Hunter-Reay still in command by about 5.3 seconds. Driver who dropped out of the race recently, Alex Tagliani. He is with Lindy.
And Alex, we talked to Rob earlier. He said you were trying a different strategy. Things looked pretty good. What happened in the end?
Well, unfortunately, on the second stop, we had a pretty big issue with the refueling. I think the butterfly got stuck, and we didn't put enough fuel. So from that point on, we knew we were in trouble. It was unrealistic fuel mileage to try to make it to the end, and we had to come in at the end to just put the fuel in and to make it to the end. And we got to the end of the pack, and on the restart, try to make some position. I got into with Simona and Danica in turn 2 and broke a wishbone.
And what happened with Marco at the beginning? A little bit of frustration?
Optimistic move a little bit. I think he tried, and we're lucky that we didn't crash together. But I think it's very risky. Tried to make it in the hairpin, just touched my right rear, make me spun a little bit. But we made it through.
But I know you couldn't be prouder of this team.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the team. I mean, we are there every weekend. Unfortunately today there was a little bit of a mechanical problem in the refueling that caused us to lose a P6 or P7, at the end. So we're pretty bummed out. But, we'll try to recover for the next race.
Alex Tagliani, thank you. And we're watching a good battle for 6th position there, Bob.
Yeah, we are. Mario Moraes and Elio Castroneves are going at it on the track. And, boy, you really got to tip your Stetson to Mario Moraes, who's just had a great race here today.
Do you have a Stetson?
I thought you did.
Maybe Robbie does.
Well, it won't be too long before we'll be in Texas. We'll get us one.
All right.
Our friend Eddie Gossage will, I'm sure, help us with that. But there is Moraes, and right behind him is Elio Castroneves and Ryan Briscoe behind him. So the Penske streak appears to be at an end, although we don't want to talk about the finale until it's over, and we got less than 4 laps to go.
A good run for Moraes, as we talked about earlier. He's working with a new engineer, so anytime he can run the full distance of the race and just learn what the car does from full tanks to empty tanks and through the tire runs, you gain knowledge as a driver and engineer working together, and that's what Mario's doing right now. And he's getting some pressure doing it.
And part of it, you mentioned it earlier, is that last year when he was the sole driver there, he had one fast car on ovals. That thing was smoking fast. Now they have 3 cars, and if they still have that oval setup, look out for KV.
Kind of an interesting move in the off-season. Mario's engineer, who they really grew that team and got to be pretty quick towards the end of the year. He made the move over to Penske and is with Will Power.
Yeah. Of course, they have a history of working together back in the days of Walker. And I love the story from the Penske team that Will Power did not make that request.
Yes.
But he never said a word about the fact that he knew one of his favorite engineers was working for another team. And they actually got the word from Derek Walker, put him in place, and then said, oh, yeah, by the way, he's one of my favorite guys. We used to work together.
Dave Faustino. We haven't said his name. That is who we were talking about, making this move.
Elio, through turn 2 and 3, was very, very close to the back end of Mario's car.
And just looking over our monitor, both of them were on the button.
Yeah.
They were both on the overtake button, defensively and offensively.
I just keep thinking how this day, we assume, is going to turn out for Ryan Hunter-Reay, after he has told us multiple times, and in the open of the show, he loves Long Beach.
Yep.
Think about the fact that he got engaged here.
Yeah. To
Becky Gordon.
Becky Gordon, Robbie's sister.
He's talked about how his mother loved to come here, who unfortunately passed away in the off-season due to cancer. I mean, this is a dream come true if he can bring this thing home for Hunter-Reay.
And let's not forget who's on his side pod. New title sponsor of this series, Izod. What a better way to bring things home and bringing things home for him here.
Doesn't hurt.
Right outside of L.A. as we had that big throwdown on Thursday night.
Newest member of Andretti Autosport as well, coming in saying, I'll show you guys how it's done.
Other members of the Andretti Autosport group, Tony Kanaan is running in 5th position, Marco Andretti is 14th, and Danica Patrick is 16th. He enters turn number 9, now turn number 10. into the hairpin 11, and he will be looking at the white flag indicating one more lap to go. There it is. Ryan Hunter-Reay has 1.968 miles to go for a victory.
And that is Justin Wilson that we saw come off the hairpin behind him, so there's no lap cars between them, but there sure is a lot of distance.
There's Becky. Past the fountain for the final time. Look at the smile on Becky's face. What an afternoon for Ryan Hunter-Reay, whose only other win came at Watkins Glen in 2008.
It's great to see this all come together. I mean, as you said, they're saying they're having fun, they're confident, they're making changes. He's like, if I could have picked any changes to improve it, that made it better.
About a half a lap to go now for Ryan Hunter-Reay. He was second in the opening event in Brazil this year. And we knew at that point that he was looking at probably a great season. He will not be denied as he adds his name to the list of great drivers who have won here. And as John said, he talked in our pre-race show about how he thinks about his mom when he comes to Long Beach. His mom passed away during the winter months. For her, he wins the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Ryan Hunter-Reay in victory lane again. Lindy, let's talk with Becky.
Becky Gordon, you met this man here 6 years ago. You get engaged here. What is it about this place?
Oh my God, I don't know. We met here. We got engaged here. It's like, this makes sense that he would actually win here. But I really wasn't going to.
You know him better than anyone. What's this mean for him with his mother?
Well, I think it just, you know, this is where he's always wanted to be. He wanted to be a top-level team, and he's here, and he's working so well with Tony, and everybody here believes in him. So let's just hope it's a full season.
And we know you want to go congratulate him. Thank you, Becky, and what a good day for Izod.
The margin of victory, 5.6 seconds over Justin Wilson and 8.5 seconds over Will Power. Scott Dixon ends up in 4th spot, and Tony Kanaan, Ryan Hunter-Reay's Andretti Autosport teammate, has a top 5 finish. So 2 of the Andretti Autosport cars finish in the top 5 as Ryan Hunter-Reay salutes the fans as he goes around the course on his cool-down lap.
Well, to be part of that list of champions from here, you know, it's not just being a part of that list, but the fans that he's waving to around here. I mean, that's what's made this a special place, is those fans are now endeared to him, and when you come back here as a winner, they just give you that special extra shout-out, which is, it's worth something.
Yeah. The last win, by the way, for Andretti Green Racing was Richmond 2008. Tony Kanaan, 29 races ago. But it's the first for Andretti Autosport with Michael as the sole owner. And the 35th win for Michael in the series, breaking a tie for second with Chip Ganassi.
And Bob, you may have noticed at the top of the screen, Justin Wilson appeared to have run out of fuel on the cool-down lap. So he definitely was cutting it close, but that's the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, we know he came in maybe a little prematurely because he had to put a front nose block on, but we knew he was in the window. I'm just tired, guys. Just taking a break.
I don't want to go any farther.
Is the podium this way?
Yeah, I've had enough. But it does show you never give up. The mental approach as a driver, when you have an incident and all of a sudden you say, hey, I was in a position to win this race, and that just got taken away from me, you never give up. You got to stay on task and focused.
And I think the one thing when we're thinking about Ryan Hunter-Reay that you got to think about, he was patient. Think about all those laps he rode behind Alex Lloyd, didn't push the issue, and waited, and now it's paid.
It has paid with a victory. And he is about to climb out of that race car where he has been for the last couple of hours. And Tony Kanaan comes over and says, way to go, partner.
those two have absolutely formed a special bond, and having two guys that are getting along and see eye to eye, that's only going to make them more competitive at Andretti Autosport, that's for sure.
Izod salutes a winning performance with Izod Victory Lane. Here's Robbie, and he will talk momentarily with Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, come on out of here, buddy. I know it's your second Izod IndyCar Series win. Has to be emotional for him. His time has finally come. A place that he loves so much. Number 2 on the pole, but you finished number 1 just like I'm sure you visioned it so many times.
Man, that was awesome. The car was so much fun. Thank you. The car was just so much fun to drive. The guys did an awesome job. That's some of the most fun of that in a race car, just because it was handling so well, and this team's just done such a great job, man. And my mom was out there with me today. She passed away recently, and this race is for her, that's for sure.
How much were you thinking about her? Because for you to talk about it before the race, I know it was on your mind, but when you were out there and had a 5-second lead, were you thinking of Mom?
I was just in a great zone. I mean, the car was excellent, and only the last couple laps did I say, thanks for being with me on this one, Mom. That was awesome. It was so cool.
Had to be a tough race for you there as far as emotion. What about in the race car like you wanted it all day, and especially when you're out there in second place and something happens to Will Power? What was going through your mind then?
Yeah, I didn't know what happened to him there. I mean, at St. Pete, we went off the wrong strategy. Things like this happen in racing, and hey, the rest of Justin Wilson's no slouch. Will was right back up there in third. I mean, it was I think we were the fastest car out there today, and we deserved it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I guess somebody wants to get the shot with you. Fiance Becky Gordon hops in here. A special moment, and of course you can't celebrate with Michael and Becky and not give some love back to the crew, because these are the guys that really helped him move your way up in the front and hold on to those positions. The perfect day for you, sunny skies, California. It had to be a dream.
I've been living here the past 6 years. This is like a home race. We got all the friends, all the family. Izod has about I think 90 people here. It's just awesome, and this is for them. They've supported me for 2.5 years now. I have to thank Michael Andretti for giving me this opportunity, and Izod for putting us here.
You talked about the pressure of Izod having that sponsorship. I guess that pressure wasn't too much for Ryan Hunter-Reay. Takes the victory in 2010 at Long Beach.
Winning an auto race is all about emotion, and you see some of the emotion being played out in Victory Lane here this afternoon. What a win for Ryan Hunter-Reay in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. More on Versus in a moment. And for the first time in about 3 days, the streets of Long Beach are quiet once again as the race has been run. Ryan Hunter-Reay the winner, and here's a salute to the winning team from Andretti Autosport. Without these guys, victory would not be possible. So congratulations to all of you. Jack Arute is standing by with a guy who finished second.
Yeah, and he actually ran out of fuel on the finish lap and he got towed back in. Justin, tell me a little bit, though, about the run today, because it looked like you were in a prime position. Then you had that pit stop to replace the nose after you had the collision. What were you thinking at that point?
I was pretty livid at that point. The Z-Line Designs car was just fantastic all day, and we just sat there saving fuel, getting great mileage. And actually, the more fuel we saved, the quicker we went. So they were telling me to save even more. And then on that second stop, we came up on that traffic, and Ryan got past, and I went to follow, and I just got the door slammed in my face. I tried to back out of it, but some guys out there just don't give you any racing room, even if it's there right away or not. You at least give the guys some feet at the apex to back out of it. But there's a few out there that just have no respect, and nearly took Ryan out of the lead, and took me out of second place at that point.
Yeah, but then you got back into it with the caution. You were able to get caught back up, and then you were pushing that overtake button like it was connected to a morphine drip.
Yeah, I knew I had to be a bit careful because we didn't want to run out of fuel, and I was just trying to keep check of the fuel mileage. The team did a fantastic job, to change the front nose, come out still in third, and give us a chance of getting on the podium. So I just got to thank everyone on the team for all their effort, and we keep saying it's got a lot of potential. So we're right there. We've had a couple of podiums now, and it's looking good.
All right, let's check in with Lindy Thaxton. Lindy?
Thanks.
So, Will, there at the end, were you really focusing on being safe and just getting the points that you could?
Yeah, right at the end there I did. You know, once Justin passed me, I tried for a couple of laps, and I thought it's not worth putting it in the wall. So, you know, still the Verizon cars leading the points. I think we finished ahead of most of the guys will be racing, except Ryan. I think he'll be really strong in the championship. So, yeah, it's a good day. Very disappointing, actually. Just one lap, it got stuck in first. Had no idea why. Never did it again.
Yeah, and that's when we saw you slow down and then speed back up.
Yeah, lost a lot of time. That was it for us, but still, it's a good day.
Yeah, I mean, things are going well for Team Penske. It's been since 2001 since a Penske driver won here, but you're pleased with your finish.
Yeah, I am. It's good. It's good for points. I mean, you know, these things happen in the championship. The worst thing that could have happened is it just stayed stuck in first and I didn't finish, so it's still a good day.
And everybody might wonder what this orange is around his mouth. You don't know, do you?
Look at that. I have no clue. I know what they put in my drink bottle, but it's... Hey, look, I can see it in the reflection.
Well, whatever it is, it's working.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Hey, it's worked already. Thank you, Will.
It's good, thank you.
Bob?
It's like some kind of strange disease has entered his body. Yes. Well, let's find out who has been chosen as our Firestone pit performers. It is Ryan Hunter-Reay's team, as they had a total time of 16.132 seconds. Again, adding to the fact that Ryan Hunter-Reay was victorious here this afternoon. We'll take another break and be back with more interviews of drivers. Stay with us.
To the Grand Prix of Long.
Nothing quite like playoff hockey, and Versus is the place to be for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Here in the streets of Long Beach, we have run the Toyota Grand Prix, and the winner is Ryan Hunter-Reay. Robbie Floyd is with Tony Kanaan, who finished 5th.
And Tony Kanaan on the Andretti Autosports machine only gained 1 position as far as the day goes, but you're smiling. Things are good for the camp because your car was dialed.
No, definitely. I think I'm smiling because of the team. I think the team deserves a win. As the last 2 years, it's been pretty rough on us. And whenever we win, I believe I'm part of it. So I had a pretty good day. It was a very, very good start. I made a mistake in qualifying. I deserved it. Look at that. I thought I deserved it to start at 4th. So I said, well, I better put myself in 4th place before the first lap. And that's what I did. I was a little bit patient there. And, you know, they ran side by side, Justin and Ryan. But that was the highlight of my day. You know, after that, the car was pretty consistent. We lost a little bit on the strategy for Dixon. I think he went a lap further than us. And he ended up leaving the pits in front of me. So, what a good day for Andretti Autosport. I'm happy. I mean, another top 5 finish for us. We need to build it up. I mean, Ryan was quick all weekend, and I think he deserves the win. And we'll move on to the ovals now.
And as we've talked about before, these guys drive almost the exact same way. Cars set up the same way. Good results for both, Jackaroo.
Standing by with Scott Dixon, and well, it wasn't what you're maybe used to, but you came home whole.
Yeah, it was a good points day for us, a lot better than what we had here last year. You know, I think we finished 18th or something. So, you know, it was a tough weekend for Team Target. We gave up a lot in qualifying, and we got to face it. You know, we just got to work on that because it's so hard to pass on these tracks because the competition's so tough. So, you know, we picked up 4 places, got some good variable points. We're doing well in the championship. It's all pretty much closing up now. So, we definitely need to stand on the hammer here and through the next few races here and try and get some variable points.
And those next few races are ovals.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. You know, especially Kansas going back from a win there last year, and then we got a big month of May. Definitely looking forward to Indy. I know the team is, you know, pushing so hard for a Target car to win there again. We came so close last year, and hopefully we can get it together.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, man.
Let's check in with Lindy.
Danica, Scott Dixon talking about going to ovals. I know you're looking forward to it.
I definitely am. But to speak about probably what's more important today is that Andretti Autosport finally got their first win, I guess you could say. But at the team, you know, we went without a win last year, and you know, we all struggled a lot. And you know, it's good for morale to get that win. I think we
we at the 7 Go Daddy car just got to figure out what it is that they're doing that we're not. So, you know, it's my guys were able to work their magic with me last year to get me up to the front through strategy, but without a yellow. Ryan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to honor our top 3 finishers.
And do you know that they have known each other a long time? They actually grew up racing karts together, right?
Yeah, I've known Ryan since I was probably
gathered here in Victory Circle who
12, I guess. So I've known him for a really long time, and you know, I'm happy for him. I know he's gone through a lot in the last couple of years with different rides at different points in the year and rides that aren't the best teams. So, you know, now he's had a good team and he believes in his equipment, and you know, they're rolling. They're doing a great job, and makes me want to push a little to figure out what I need.
Yeah, thanks, Danica, and we'll see you at an oval where I know she hopes for a better result, Bob.
Danica Patrick finishes 16th in today's race. The Queen Mary harbored nearby of Long Beach. Back to wrap it up in just a moment on Versus.
Welcome back to the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, where yet again an Andretti Autosport car has come to victory lane with Ryan Hunter-Reay. And for the last word, we go to the guy that calls the shots right now. Michael, tell me a little bit about what the emotion is finally getting the monkey off your back.
Oh, it's so big, so big. You know, and I'm so happy and proud of Ryan. He did such a great job this weekend, but he's been doing it all year for us. And, you know, it's just, I'm so happy that he's been able to get this win and get the monkey off all our backs. And so cool to have eyes out here being a part of it on the race car, and also, in the championship. You know, I mean, they are just such a great series sponsor. So
at least right now, Bob, we know who the number 3 team is in IZOD IndyCar competition, don't we?
Yeah, well, they could move up a notch. They've had a great run here. As you take a look at the finish of the race, it was the best finish of the season for Ryan Hunter-Reay and Justin Wilson, also for Tony Kanaan and Mario Moraes. Will Power, Tony Kanaan, and Helio Castroneves are now the only drivers with 4 top 10 finishes this season. Of course, Power has 4 top 5 finishes in every race this year. The point standings. Helio Castroneves is second. Ryan Hunter-Reay moves up to third, gaining 4 positions here with the win this afternoon. There were a total of 3 leaders. Ryan Hunter-Reay led the most laps. 64 other leaders, Power and Dixon. Only 1 caution. That was for the incident involving Mario Romancini and Graham Rahal. Coming up next, the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Ottawa Senators in the NHL quarterfinal action. IZOD IndyCar returns to Versus Saturday, May 22nd at 11 o'clock Eastern with pole day from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. IZOD, the official apparel sponsor of the IZOD IndyCar Series, available at Macy's. For more information on the IZOD IndyCar Series, log on to Versus.com. Congratulations to Ryan Hunter-Reay. For Jan Beekes, Robbie Buell, Jack Arute, Robbie Ford, and Lenny Dykstra, I'm Bob.